Hello. I think we started the music. I say we started the music 2 minutes early, but it's not we. It was just me. I'm not gonna force everybody to carry the blame with me. Yeah.
It's gone quiet. Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
Just amuse
No,
yourselves for
I'm
2 minutes, everybody. Well, we haven't even got
Oh,
to the main screen or
used,
anything. Oh,
they're
gosh.
used to that. They probably amused themselves for 2 minutes just before the show
Gosh.
started anyway.
You know what I mean? That's what I
Getting
do.
all their fresh socks on and all of that.
But yeah, now we have a minute, so I've managed to just waste a minute there, everybody. I don't know why I'll do it. I've done it before where it gets to like 17 minutes and I'm like, oh, that means 15 minutes. And I start the fucking music and it's just like, it doesn't mean 15. What are you even talking about? Gosh. Oh my God. Yeah. Where's the music? Sorry, Nicholas.
What you could do, you could ask everyone to press that subscribe button and stick their
That's
thumb
right.
up. And
press that subscribe button and stick that thumb up and all that shit. Like Billy said.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Press the share button and stick it somewhere.
That's right. We still got 37 seconds before we're actually going to go live. All right. And yeah, shout out to Cookie Grow there for.
I ain't pressed that save button before. Oh yeah, it's to save it to one of your watch lists on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So press that as well, just because we got time to press shit.
That's
and
right.
There's nothing
That's
else.
right. 20 seconds, everybody. 20 seconds before we go
start
live.
Pressing buttons and shit, man.
All right. Yeah, quick shout out to Cookie Grow for reminding me to press record. Thank you. Appreciate that. Here we go. 10 seconds, everybody. You ready?
Oh, quick. Let's get professional.
Here's the professional screen that comes up here.
Oh, look. There you go.
Video. Hit subscribed in it.
Does that mean I stop picking my nose?
Yes, everybody. And welcome to High on Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from Percy'sGrowroom.com. I am Macky from the UK, and joining us this week, we have Billy Bonds.
Yay, also from the UK. Just about.
Is that
more
it?
strip one at the minute, I think, but
yeah. Right.
It's bloody foggy and grey as fuck here at the minute as well, after it being sunny all week, so lovely.
Yeah, it's been beautiful weather here in the UK all week. And we also have Margaret. What's Margaret saying?
I'm coming at you from Central Ontario in Canada, and it is hot today.
Oh, nice. What are we talking about? Hot. What are we saying?
Like 31 degrees Celsius.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Pretty toasty.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's like
beautiful.
ice cold water fucking weather, isn't it? Outside,
Yes.
ice cold. What are you doing inside then? Are you cooling down? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, AC.
Got your AC going. At least
I
it's
do.
going, unlike in the winter when you run out of power.
Right, exactly.
Gosh, man. Yeah, crazy summer this year. We're having a nice summer here in the UK as well. It's been we had a heat wave when we were getting up to about 30 degrees, but it's a little bit cooler now than what it was. But still, I just love this hot weather so much, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of like it too. I mean, sometimes it's so hot you can't do anything outside really except sit there, but otherwise,
I suppose I'm in a position where I'm lucky enough to not have to go outside when it's boiling hot and do shit. But if people who got to work out there and are building houses, putting roofs on shit and all that, goddamn, no, I feel for those guys, man. That's bad. But yeah, anyway. John won't be joining us this week. He has been instructed because, he keeps on coming on the show every fucking week and pronouncing words incorrectly. So we've told him,
yeah.
Next week, mate, don't come to the show. Get out there, fucking get in a fucking English class or something. Try and learn how to pronounce these words properly. But no, not really. He's not very well, man. He's a little bit ill this week, but hopefully he'll be feeling better next week. But yeah, and he's also while he's ill. Maybe caught computer virus. From the show.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I've heard about that happening. But yeah, so send your love out to John there, everybody. He's not feeling too good, but he should be back next week, fingers crossed. And he should be pronouncing words properly by then as well. So let's we can dream, can't we? We can dream. So, some of these news articles, difficult to find news articles this week, everybody. It was just the same old shit, and I don't want to bring the same old shit to you every. Oh, this guy busted because he had 6 plants. And just the random shit we have to always cover. So Billy went out and found these news articles this week. So nice one, Billy. Shout out to Billy. And Margaret, of course.
Yeah, nice one, Billy.
Yeah. The king of CBD, and this is the news articles we're going to be covering, by the way. The king of CBD are now looking up plans to make billion-dollar meds from cannabis and mushrooms. Yeah, these are some interesting guys by the look of things. Small island, big vision. medical cannabis as a catalyst for economic growth. This is something I've been talking about for like 5 years. This show's been going for, what, 5 years now? And I've been talking about it. You want to just come into terms that you all need to catch up, man. You need to get me on the government advisory panel. And this shit would have been solved a long time ago. And then Margaret has only a quarter of those found with cannabis are charged by police. Yeah, okay. That's going to be interesting. Is that in the UK, do you think, Margaret? Europe, or just in
I
illegal
think it
places
was
in general?
in the UK. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure though, but I think it was.
All right. We also have another one here. The LEEF Brands prepares to harvest over 1 million cannabis plants. Oh,
Wow.
my. These must be ultimate high-level criminals. 1 million cannabis plants. You know, and Billy has launch of industrial hemp hub, new parliamentary group, signal renewed push in the UK. Oh, gosh, man. I don't want to go off on a rant straight away, but
Buckle up.
I just really don't think anything's going to happen in the UK regarding cannabis over the next 10 years. I just don't see it happening, man. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope, like, tomorrow we get up and we have the Prime Minister saying, oh, yeah, we're going to legalize cannabis and shit. But I really don't see this shit happening for 10 years. What do you think, Billy? What are you as pessimistic as I am on this?
Yeah, I don't see any change until they start the so-called medical stuff again. If you know what I mean, there's lots of money to fight in that side of shit. So yeah, recreational definitely ain't coming. Or growing your own.
Yeah,
it's gonna, the growing your own could get sneaked in if some of these like court cases go through. That could that's what could change things. But then they just keep delaying these court cases like they have. So that's also
start a poll. I am. Will the UK legalize within 10 years? Yes or no? Yes, no, and I'm going to add a third one. Yes, with home grow, because that's different. Yes, without home grow, because I think that's an important factor to it. I think they might legalize for recreational use, but home grow is going to be a no-go. It's not going to happen.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. The government, we live in a nanny state. They'll be like, oh, but the weed might get moldy. Fucking hell. Right, so I'll start the poll there.
Like
don't forget to go hit the
stuff.
poll, everybody. Let us know what you all think. Will the UK legalise within 10 years? Yes, without home grow. No, or yes, with home grow. Let us know. I just think it's a flat out no, unfortunately. But let us know what you think in the polls. For the grow guides, we discussed temperatures and stuff last week, how to keep your grow room cool and BPD and things like that. And we didn't discuss much about the whole root zone thing. So the root zone can get too hot as well. So we want to cover some of that, but also point out how you can notice things going on in the root zone without seeing it. You have to be able to look at your plants. And if that's giving any symptoms off, you need to know if that's going to be because something going on in the root zone. So we're discussing root zone, how to keep it healthy, and how to diagnose if there is something wrong in the root zone as well. Nice and easy. Should be a good show and all of that. Yeah, got a lot to cover. But Margaret, you want to tell everybody where you were last week? We were wondering what it was.
Oh, I was just at like a pride event. It was like a cannabis themed pride event in my town that another cannabis person was hosting. So I went to show my support and everything, and it was a really good time.
Nice.
So you mean cannabis for gays, basically?
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Because we weren't sure if it was cannabis for LGBTQ community or you go in there to be proud of the fact you're a cannabis user.
Well, I think it was a bit of both.
Sweet.
It was pretty much like cannabis people that were showing up to the event. It was a fundraiser too for a local charity.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's just like a mixed event for everyone who's just a bit liberal about shit, and because it's Pride Month, they just threw that into as they do. Yeah, I understand.
Nice. Is that another charity you're working with there, Margaret?
No, the charity itself I wasn't working with, but I know the woman who hosted the event pretty well because she lives in my area. So I like to show up and support when she puts on events.
Nice.
Because, I mean, she's local, so.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Just to be supportive, I understand that.
Yeah.
Got to back each other up, It's fucked out there.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, the community's got to look after each other, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Simper as well. We had Simper on last week. The interview went out last week. And he's having some issues with that garden. He was talking about already he is facing some problems with that. So if you heard that interview, and you can go and help Simper out. Just head over to the Facebook page you mentioned. What was it called, Billy? Can you remember? The Hemp Gardens Durham or something like that?
Yeah, hemp gardens. Is it County Durham? It comes up. I think I can have a quick check because he's on my Facebook. So
yeah, so if you just Google Simper Carter, you'll find the information. You'll be able to, just a little bit of research there. You'll be able to find what we're talking about.
It's the Hemp Gardens Community Association.
Nice. Yeah, so
I can drop a link in the thing.
Sweet. And if anybody can just go over there and support it in any way you can, even just sharing it, that's a great way to support it and get more people looking at it, and then maybe they can support you. Just do what you can, because he needs some help. It's in the link in the YouTube there. Everybody should click that, head over there and see, because apparently he had some trouble this week with like, it's not the law, but maybe the council, that said, right, we're going to close in shit down. Yeah. Yeah. So good luck to him, man. Good luck to him. He's fighting the good fight over there. I hope it works out for him. And he just needs support from the community. So if you can, please do so. That would be appreciated. By us and by him.
Space. That's what it is. It's reclaiming community space because the basic council just left it derelict and go to shit because that's what they do.
That's right.
They don't give a fuck.
And as soon as they see somebody using it and for good things, they want to get rid of it.
Oh no, it's degenerate drug users who smoke some weed, mate.
Yeah. It's them degenerate druggies. That's it with the UK. They don't do anything about it unless somebody starts having fun with it. It's like they won't fix potholes on the road, but if you go out there and you spray paint a penis over it, they'll be able to fix it straight away.
Get it fixed straight away.
You know what I mean?
Yep. That's the best way to do it, mate. Yeah.
That's right.
plant a hemp plant in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best way, mate. Plant a hemp plant. Throw some dirt in there and some seeds. Water it.
Anyway. What are you smoking on? Quickly, before we move on to the news. We haven't even covered that yet. What are we smoking on this week? What you got, Billy?
I've got some homegrown weed and some hash I brought off the legacy market.
Nice, okay.
Which is very rare. Very rare I buy some hash. So I had some cash, so I thought I'd buy a little bit because I didn't have enough to make, and because I was ill, I didn't really make any. So I was like, I'm just going to buy a bit.
Is it good shit?
So, it's 90 U. It's quite nice. It's very similar to what I make as well, strangely, in a way.
Nice.
So it's like, nice and oily. Smells, tastes like hash. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, you got, Margaret? You got something nice?
Yeah, I've got a cannabis drink I'm working on right now, and I have a little bit of some CBD cannabis and some black domina mixed in my vape.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I got the SOS weed in the Mighty. You know how we're all got some of that. I'm just heating up the Mighty right now. Take a little hit of that before we move on to the news here. And also got some fine high class whiskey, everybody. If you want to partake, then do please feel free.
Did you do you mix your CBD a lot with your THC weed?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. When I had my CBD weed, I used to do that quite a lot as well. Always in the mornings for breakfast. It's really nice doing that. It gives you that that extra indica relaxed feeling, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I always
takes the edge off the THC as well a bit, if you know what I mean. So you don't feel
that.
so. Yeah, it's quite
especially
nice.
as a lightweight. You know what I mean? Because I can't handle the the 25, 27% THCs nowadays. Getting a CBD, mixing it with that to either dilute it or to just get a CBD THC 1-to-1 strain just to reduce it. Beautiful. It's a nice way to smoke, man.
Certainly is. I enjoy it. It's a good way to vape as well.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, are we all ready for the news? Should we do it?
I think so.
Brace yourselves, everybody. Fucking
God, yeah. Here we go.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about it. I want to just chill with the chill vibe, not get wound up by this shit. But we have to do it anyway, everybody. Brace yourselves.
Oh, you love it.
Smoke
Press the
it.
Press the button.
I'm pressing the button. Let's go. You know, in George Orwell's 1984, where they have the is it a minute's hate? This is what the news feels like. Like once a week, we all get to come here, get wound up by the stupidness we hear in the fucking news. Gosh, man,
this is the minute hate.
Right, but I don't think it is for the first article. I think we do have some good news-ish for the first article. It's like these guys can do it, but the rest of us can't. but at least somebody can, Well, look at the bright side of things. So, I've closed down the window. Hold on for a second, everybody. Let me get that back up there and hope it works. There we go. So this is from Forbes.com. We have the title of "The Kings of CBD are now making up plans to make billion-dollar meds from cannabis and mushrooms," which is fucking awesome. You know, this some company. We'll read more about the company in a little bit. Let me just hit this mighty one more time. Delicious. A little bit of dead air, everybody, while we smoke. Beautiful.
I think people would be taking notice of the word billion because it's not a million in industry anymore. It's a $1 billion industry, which is like, well, there's a big difference between the two.
Yeah, a big difference, man. A big difference.
Yeah, a fucking big difference.
It's like, just to put it in perspective, the difference between a million and a billion is if you counted 1 second every second, as you do, you would have to count for 11 days before you got to 1 million. But to get to a billion, you have to count for 31 years, man.
Wow,
that's the
crazy.
difference. That's the difference.
Crazy difference. Yeah.
Wow.
So, random tangent, random fact of the week there, everybody, just so you know.
I like that perspective as well, the second perspective, because everyone can understand that in time, can't they? They all know how long 11 days is.
Yeah.
That
compared to 31
long,
years.
But compared to 31 years, man, it's like, you're like, oh my God.
Crazy difference.
The amount of weed you could grow in that time. You can't grow any weed in 11 days.
No, this is the perspective Billy will put on everything. The amount of weed you could grow in that time.
Exactly. There you go. Just to give everyone that extra bit of thought, like 11 days of growing weed to 31 years of growing weed, the difference in the amount of weed you would have is crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's take a look at these guys. We have the Stanley brothers, who created Charlotte's Web, the CBD supplement that worked wonders on seizures. Now they are developing pharmaceuticals derived from cannabis and psilocybin with hopes of treating autism, PTSD, and depression, which is good fucking news, man. You know, it's easy to hate because the whole system's so fucked, and it's like, why can these guys do it and I can't? I like THC, I like psilocybin. Can I get involved in this billion-dollar industry? No, you can't, Macky. Shut up. Stop dreaming. This isn't for you. You know.
Have you got a bigger envelope, have you?
No, exactly.
You got
exactly. Right, ridiculous. But that's no fault of these guys. Don't want to put any hate on these guys. Fair play to them. You know, it's the system that's fucked. These guys are just doing what they can with the system that they fucking live in. So fair play to them, you know. But inside a 13,500 square foot warehouse in Littleton, Colorado, Joel Stanley and one of the 7 Stanley brothers, known for popularizing CBD with their groundbreaking company Charlotte's Web a decade ago, this is a long sentence, walks through a series of 5 isolated cultivation rooms where thousands of psychedelic mushrooms are being grown. That is a really long sentence.
Yeah, it is.
Giant
At least the names are good.
Yeah, I suppose. And, you know, they spoke about mushrooms there, so they kept us going throughout the sentence, just added more and more interesting things. So, though it was a long sentence, it was an interesting one. Giant fruiting bodies of the potent fungi, which contain the mind-bending compound of psilocybin and other tryptamines, stand tall at his newest venture, the drug development company Anja Biosciences. That didn't make much sense to me. They're growing a shitload of mushrooms, everybody. Mm-hmm. Down the hall, a chemist in a white lab coat pours mushroom extract into silver cylinders to turn the tryptamine-rich liquid into a fine, eggshell-coloured powder. While these magic mushrooms are known to induce an intense psychedelic experience, Ajna, which was founded in April 2021, is not growing them to expand people's consciousness, but to develop what Stanley hopes to become a new billion-dollar US Food and Drug Administration approved medicine for depression. And that would be a good thing. You know, we've heard of loads of people, and we've had guests on the show who microdose using psilocybin, and it helps with lots of things, not just depression, just like cognitive ability and all of this kind of shit, man. And it seems to do so much good. But because it's illegal, people can't use it. But it would be nice to see somebody make a proper medicine. What's the stance of Margaret? What's the stance of psilocybin in Canada? Is that still fully illegal? Because you seem a little bit more liberal than most countries.
Yeah, it's illegal, but I think you can buy the spores and stuff.
Yeah.
legally, technically, you're just not supposed to grow them out. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't, doesn't seem to have the same stigma as cannabis did before, or yeah.
All right.
I think they're
Yeah,
trying to decriminalize all drugs in like a city in BC or something, if I recall. I don't even know if that's still going on, but yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
mushrooms don't have a bad reputation as such, do they? Strangely.
No,
Well,
they
it's because
really
you can't
don't seem
smell them.
to.
You know, the smell
Yeah.
of cannabis puts a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Also, it's not really known as a drug because people think, oh, mushrooms, they eat a lot of mushrooms and they know about like the fly agaric as such, but they don't know there's lots
Ugh.
of others. So it's like a different species because the amount of mushrooms there are is just unbelievable. But cannabis is just cannabis, like, if you know what I mean.
And
Cocaine's
also, like, I
cocaine.
don't
So
know if anybody's ever made a fortune selling mushrooms. Like back in
yeah,
the
that
day, you
as
could
well.
definitely make a ton
Yeah.
of money selling weed, but I don't know if there's ever been a market like that for mushrooms either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
it's not
true.
seen as a tradable narcotic as such. No, it's
No.
more something you pass around at a party or your
Yeah.
mates have a mushroom session. Yeah, it's not something you really make money off, is it? Yeah, yeah,
No.
that's a good point as well.
This article
Carry on
continues.
then.
We're taking a pharmaceutical approach to nature, says Stanley, Ajna's 45-year-old CEO and founder. Our entire process is totally organic, which means we could produce the first USDA certified organic pharmaceuticals. The first? You're telling me there's no organic ones? Are they all petrochemicals? You know what I mean? Does that sound crazy, that sentence?
Not
They don't
really.
have
No,
any natural medicines?
no. Why does that surprise you?
Very true. It shouldn't really.
They, 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 they,
I'm a
they
dreamer
steal everything
sometimes,
from
Billy.
nature.
You know?
Yeah, I suppose you're still got that liberalism in you somewhere.
That's right. I got a little bit of optimism left. There's still a little bit left.
There's some hope there. It's not been. You haven't reached that
Ima-
extra 10 years, and beat the government have finally beat it all
I
out.
just
of you.
imagine how fucked up that is, right? With all of these different medications out there that have been created over the last 100 years, zero of them, none of them are organic and natural. They've all been created in a lab somewhere.
Maybe he's full of shit.
Yeah, that maybe he's full of shit. I'm gonna hope that. Maybe he's full of shit. All right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna go
A
with.
CEO saying something that doesn't turn out to be true is not an uncommon thing.
That's right. It's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, let's carry on. Let's not go on a fucking rant right now. Calm down, Margaret. Gosh. In another room, a chemist sitting next to a high-resolution mass spectrometer is working on identifying every molecule in Ajna's frontrunner drug codenamed AJA001, a botanical tincture of CBD and THC extracted from a patented strain of Charlotte's Web hemp plants. And I think the important word in that sentence there is patented, everybody.
Yes, I would agree.
Oh, look, there's that magic word.
Oh, right, yeah. Patented. Yeah. There we go.
Yep.
We are mapping out the chemical structure to see every atom. I'm digging it into the weeds.
It could be patent.
Patent.
Patent, mate, or fight.
Oh, where's John when we need him? Where's John? John would have told us the proper pronunciation. You know, because he knows how to pronounce everything, Margaret. That's the thing with John. Yeah. He pronounces everything correctly. John does, don't you, John? Fucking. Yeah, she says oblivious to her pun, and she was oblivious. So this person said, I'll just read the sentence again because you will get the pun. We are mapping out the chemical structure to see every atom. I'm digging into the weeds. She says, oblivious to her pun. You think she was oblivious to the pun? I don't think. Surely, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Otherwise, AI is definitely going to take over at some point because even AI would get that pun. Ajna has raised a total of $11 million, about $4.5 million from the Stanley family and $5.5 million from Joel and other executives at his company, and the rest from early Charlotte's Web investors to develop a suite of botanical drugs from hemp, marijuana, and psilocybin mushrooms. But Charlotte's Web, which owns the intellectual property for AJA001, has licensed it to the Joel brothers, Jared's new company, De Floria, to help Ajna get through the FDA approval process by raising $15 million from British American Tobacco.
Oh, interesting.
Ah,
So big tobacco's getting into this life-saving medicine.
Oh, we are so lucky to
Interesting.
have them.
Oh, no
Thank you, Big
surprise there, is
Tobacco.
there?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
big
Yeah,
tobacco, yeah,
big
and British
tobacco.
American as well, of all
Yeah,
great companies.
British
Hey,
American together.
yeah.
Defloria, which I think is I don't know, I don't like that name so much. That's weird. Defloria is a joint venture between Ajna, Charlotte's Web, and BAT, which is the British American Tobacco. That so yeah, no conflict of interest here, anybody. This is all gonna go swimmingly. AJA001 is targeting what is assuredly the central condition of the Make America Healthy Again era autism, which now affects 1 in every 31 children and 1 in 45 adults. Gerard Stanley, the 38-year-old CEO of Defloria, says the autism drug is following the FDA's botanical drug pathway, meaning it's wholly derived from the plant and not single synthetic molecule drug like most pharmaceuticals on the market. Jesus. Botanical drugs can be more difficult than single molecule drugs due to their sheer number of active compounds in plants. AJA001, for instance, contains 6,000 compounds. Currently, there are only 4 FDA-approved botanical drugs, including, cinacatechins, a topical, I sounded out as best as I could. A topical cream for genital warts, made from green tea leaves and marked as vegan. But yeah, this goes on, everybody. It's a bit of a long article here, and it's just going to be worth a shitload of money. And these guys are going to start making this medicine.
They're cashing in, baby.
That's right.
British American Tobacco.
Yeah. That's right. They're going to be rich. Oh, they already are rich.
Somebody's going to be rich.
Oh. Yeah, no. But I was thinking most likely the result of this, because these big tobacco companies, they don't want any cannabis legalization at all, because it's definitely taking a dig into their market unless they can do it as well. So I think they've more like paid money, and this is just speculation, allegedly, everybody. I'm just chatting shit, you know what I'm like. But it's more like now they've taken control of this company, they can prevent them from releasing anything and and it's better to pay this company to look for shit and never find answers than it is to allow it to become legalized in a medicine in this way, so it takes a big chunk out of their business. You know what I mean? Or do I just sound like a crazy person who thinks the world's flat?
Yeah, you're a crazy flat earther.
All right. Fuck. Do you think that's likely? You think that the company would more likely to be involved just to slow down their progress?
No.
No.
I think they're in it to make money. They're trying to make money for their investors, because it's all about profits at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's all about profit. They know how much it's worth. They've seen the zeros on the end of it. That's what they. Plus, in a way, it's a good thing, because they're probably going to be one of the best with distribution worldwide. And if that can and if this drug can come out quickly, then it's going to take over all the fucking antidepressants on the market.
Yeah.
Which is a fucking good thing. So, to be honest, I think
it's a good. Yeah, when you say it's a good thing, it's a good thing for us ordinary people. But the pharmaceutical companies, Billy, they don't think that's a very good idea. You know what I'm saying?
But it's coming anyway, so that they ain't got a choice. So it's whoever gets in first. If you know what I mean, this is the future. So like they either get into the future now, or someone else is going to do it.
Yeah, martial artists in the chat said their business is already on a downslide. Big Tobacco is waiting for federal cannabis legalization. Yeah, very true. Could definitely be the case. You know, if they get involved,
they know it's the future. Tobacco's dying, same as lots of other stuff. People ain't stupid. If they recognise over the next change of what's going to change for the next 100 years, and for them to make money, they want to get in early, and they like to get in early in everything and take over.
There's only so many new markets they can go to get new customers for tobacco.
Yeah,
like they can do that, but
that's what they want. Remember, the new market for this drug is literally 6 billion of us on the planet, because we're all fucking depressed. We all hate our governments. We all need this drug.
Look at the way this world is.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
I'm not
depressed. They're created. That's because you had a little bit of whiskey.
That's very true. Chin chin, everybody. Chin chin.
Yeah. But if someone come out with one that's 100% mushrooms and cannabis, nothing else in it, would you take it? You would,
Yeah.
wouldn't you? Just because.
Fuck yeah.
You would. Yeah.
Just
that's what I
because
mean.
it's
So, like,
Tuesday, I'll fucking take that.
too right.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's medicinal as well because it's like point whatever 0.001%, whatever scale they're scaling it to, and then so it's like wow.
And that's the best thing.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, everybody's depressed, right? And there's some ridiculous amount, like 42% of women are on some kind of antidepressants, which is fucking a crazy amount of people. So if we can make sure that they're taking something natural and relatively harmless instead of these fucking these evil medicines, man. I know quite a few people who take this kind of stuff, and I don't know, it just some people it just doesn't go well with. So you know, I won't go into too much detail there because we'll get flags because we're not allowed to speak our opinion on YouTube. But you know, it's better to go for that natural shit first. I think go for the fucking microdosing of the psilocybin first before you start going to them heavy antidepressants and shit. I would think that was the first port of call. You know what I mean?
Just to bring in some professionalism, just saying about it being the 100% first one on the market and all that. Also, technically, aspirin is derived from like willow bark, and morphine's extracted from opium.
Oh right.
Things like, but they're not 100%, are they? So aspirin isn't just willow bark, if you know what I mean. It's not the sialic acid or whatever. I can't pronounce that word properly, but like. Things like that, but also you've got things like echinacea, valerian root, ginger, but they're not classed as a food and drug as a pharmaceutical. They're not registered, if you know what I mean, in that sort of term. So I think in that way it would be the first like official pharmaceutical recognized by the Food and Drug Agency, which is like the operative word being drug. Really, it's recognized as an actual pharmaceutical drug. So in that terms, it definitely looks like that could be true because it's just because everything else seems to be mixed with something. Anything we've derived from any natural like tree barks and other plants and flowers, it's been mixed with other stuff. Whereas this seems it's literally just going to be mushrooms and weed in a capsule.
We'll keep you informed, everybody. We'll let you know. Obviously, if we see any of these fucking products being actually put out there and given to people as a proper medicine on a proper prescription, we will let you know about that because that's going to be some big news, man. Imagine that. Just prescribed by your doctor. Let's give you about 8 milligram THC and about 12 milligram of psilocybin. There you go. Take these twice a day. Thank you very much, doctor, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a large dose once a year.
You know what I mean? Can we leave a tip? Thank you, doctor.
Yeah. And it prescribes you a gram for October, like you get a gram every October because like that's mushroom season.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. I don't know, man. Like a third of a gram of a day. If you could do that, I would add that to my vitamin pills. You know, every morning, just like a tiny little bit of THC, tiny little psilocybin in a pill, going along with your daily vitamins, your A, B, C, D, K12, fucking D, you know, all that shit you're supposed to have, which none of us have. So, some magnesium. You know what I mean? Just that shit we're supposed to get every day. I would take vitamin pills every day if I knew there was some fucking psilocybin and THC in it just to give me that little bump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm taking them pills, mate.
We're all getting a lot healthier all of a sudden. You know, it's like maybe they should add it just as incentive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And then people would take their vitamins every day. But anyway, spend a long time on that story. Good luck to these guys. I hope it works out, you know, even though the system's fucked. As I said, these guys are legitimately doing a business here and doing good things to get good medicine to people. So good luck to those guys, man. I hope it works out. Well, let's talk about this this launch of Industrial Hemp Hub, Billy. And this one is behind a paywall on my screen, so I'm not going to be able to put it on the screen. But you can tell us what's going on.
Okay, yep. Basically, I can. This is the launch of an industrial hemp hub. So a new parliamentary group, basically. So a new formed industrial hemp innovations hub will head up a key UK parliamentary body, marking a renewed national effort to reform hemp policy and support sector development, which is like, oh, wow, hang on, what's going on here then? Like the hub at Aberystwyth University in Wales. Look at that. I said Aberystwyth quite well.
Fucking skilled, mate. Oh, my God. And just before you carry on, Billy, just a reminder. Margaret, you weren't here last week. Oh, my God. We needed you so bad last week.
always wonder if there was something I missed with all this talk about John mispronouncing words.
Oh,
but...
God. I had to read 2 articles, Margaret, and the names of these people were like from Thailand and shit. And oh man, it was horrific. It was I haven't
quite
slept all
brutal.
week. I I didn't pronounce any of those names correctly. It was absolutely dreadful, and it was like these articles should have gone to Margaret. Everybody, gosh.
Well, I think next week I'm going to try and find articles with the most strangest names just to post, just for Macky. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, gosh,
that's funny.
Yeah, good times. Sorry, Billy, carry on. Sorry.
That's okay. So Aberystwyth University in Wales will serve the secretariat to the normally formed all parliamentary group, the APPG, which is basically groups that lobby government in the UK. But it's going to lobby them for industrial hemp. The stakeholders said that the new APPG will bring research, integrity, expertise, and policy, and neutral platform and process and expanding the industry. So, which is like, oh wow! So they actually gonna do something now about hemp in the UK as an industrial use, which would be quite amazing because it's really needed here at the minute, sort of, especially the amount of like sort of farms we're lacking now, sort of like doing nothing, sitting there doing.
We need something here. We need something.
Yeah. The new hemp APPG group follows the collapse of a previous group focused on CBD and hemp. That group, beset by initial deputies and credibility issues, failed to deliver any coherent policy guidance despite initial ambitions laid out in 2022. So basically, it's a plan for a legal and regulated UK hemp and cannabis sector. So they're driving change now. It's a whole new group. They've got parliamentary backing from both sides. So when you get an APPG, it means that both the two main groups in Parliament and all the others sort of are definitely joined together and want this to move forward. We do have one with cannabis as well, but this one's sort of like more industrial side of hemp, so that it's got nothing to do with the actual like medical cannabis or anything like that. So it's just purely hemp based, which is what we need. Something that just drives out this as a industrial sort of use plant. It's got nothing to do with anything else. It's just using it for farming.
Right.
So the initiatives which sorry, go on, mate. You go first.
It's just so this is just going to be specific. When they say hemp, they're essentially in this article. They're saying it's industrial hemp. It's not like cannabis hemp.
Yeah.
No,
this is just
there's some terminology there.
Use only. Yeah, that's why it made it. But no, but that's a good thing.
It's something.
It's separated.
But they are saying here, like, although that spans textiles, construction, biofuels, food, bioplastics, animal products, and pharmaceuticals.
Oh, and pharmaceuticals. That makes a difference when they add that on there.
Yeah.
Because all the other stuff can just be made of hemp. Maybe,
yeah. Byproducts could then be sent off to pharmaceutical companies as well, I reckon there. So it will prioritise environmental goals such as carbon sequestration and soil regeneration, while supporting rural economies and advancing the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So obviously the UN being involved isn't a good thing because they're a bit of a stupid really and have too many regulations. but they do that normally stops things from happening. If you
it does.
I mean, you're not allowed to be close to this or that. And
well, they're the guys who kept cannabis illegal for so long in the first place, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Nobody's allowed to legalize for recreational use because the UN said so.
Right.
Yeah. Bullshit. So, stakeholders, we know about them, said the launch represents a turning point for the hemp sector, which can now develop targeted policy frameworks that addresses barriers such as restrictive licensing and a lack of processing infrastructure and the underdeveloped supply chain, which is massive in the UK, especially since the Ukrainian war has happened as well, because they were producing like 2/3 of the Europeans' hemp. And so obviously since the war, it's all just collapsed as such. So advocates have long suggested that hemp's rapid growth, low input requirements and versatility make it a valuable alternative crop for the UK farmers, whilst emphasising that without regulatory reform, particularly on licensing and end of market development, adoption will remain limited, which is definitely needed. There's no way to sell it, if you know what I mean. There's no you can't nowhere to build with it. So we need like the industry to pick up in the housing. If you know what I mean, they need to start making hemp bricks out of it to then and things like that, heating and things like so you can all the heat bricks with the leftovers and shit like that. Sort of like the clothing industry. There's nowhere to process it and then make it into clothes. We've got all this stuff. So we've got lots of machinery which needs to be invented or imported to come here. So all these sort of companies could be set up. So there's a lot of money to be made in that sort of thing. So that's the
How long you think
driving of
though?
this type of thing.
How long do you think it's going to take these guys to actually make any change? Though?
I don't know. We'll have a look if
That's
they
always the
tell us
problem.
any process, but I would say 4 years it could.
Oh
do it
God!
quite
Fuck.
easily.
You could have.
Well, no, I'm
Billy,
just saying
Billy
that
just said
within
6
that-
months. All right, 6 months, everybody. It's okay. Somebody's gonna have it
Okay.
6 months. Gosh, you could have
6
been a little bit lighter on us than 4 fucking years, Billy. Gosh,
They've
man.
just got
That's
to
still
build.
not 10
They've got to
though.
build stuff though. They've still got to build stuff. If you get what I
4
mean.
years
So,
just for weed?
yeah. But they've got by the time they plant it, grow it, then we're talking about it being grown next year. Then we've got to have all the buildings to then process it, the machinery. So by the time that gets imported, I'd rather they build the machinery and that than import a load of Chinese made stuff. Shit, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So, right. The hub is positioned to influence national policy and expand industrial hemp's role in decarbonising industries, boosting green jobs and revitalising rural communities. The initiative offers such a fresh start to the UK hemp policy in years and also false starts, disjointed advocacy and overpromised projections. So it's not going to be 6 months. So industry represents raised the new model and realistic, the rooted in scientific research and economic practicality. Rather than hype, they express optimism that a more focused and transparent approach would finally allow the UK to harness hemp's full industrial and environmental potential, which is the main thing. The environmental thing could be a big impact. It'd stop us doing all this stupid carbon capture stuff because hemp can change a lot of that. The UK Parliament's encouragement with hemp and CBD policy has evolved over the past several years through the formation of all the APPGs, all of them, because there's a few. Initially, the sectors were addressed jointly under the APG for CBD products, which was formed in 2001. That group has now expanded its remit in 23, include the industrial hemp rebranding as the APG for industrial hemp and CBD products, reflect the growing interest in both consumer cannabinoids and the hemp's industrial appliances. So they're recognizing that they're separate now, if you know what I mean? Which is the main thing, because we do need to separate, because if you're building growing hemp for for housing or for clothes and that, then we can then use the flowers for something and shit like that. So it's like using the whole plant, because we're not at the moment in the UK, are we? So it's just we might be able to grow the plant and then use the whole plant. So
yeah,
looking forward to that. Right.
Is this much longer?
So
you want to sum this up? Because these guys go on.
Yeah, that's basically about it. That they're looking to change things, but they want to do it as quickly as possible. But the main thing is that it's Parliament are actually dedicated. Once it reaches the APPG, that means they're definitely dedicated to actually changing things. And obviously, because it's an industrial hemp side of things, it could move a lot quicker than the medical side of shit, because there's just not so much involved, if you know what I mean. So it could actually happen within quite quickly. And there's a lot of also research in the hemp industry, and hemp is already grown and sold in the UK. So it's not like it's not being done and it's something brand new. It's just something that needs to be expanded quickly. So I do think within 4 years we could possibly have a big hemp industry growing, because in that time we could have grown enough and then developed what we needed to then build the products and have an end thing. We'd have houses built out of it, if you know what I mean. Shit like that. You'd actually be able to go to the shop and buy stuff made from it, clothes, what's been grown and made in the UK, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good time scale. I'd be happy with that, 3 to 4 years. So in 3-4 years time, I'd be able to possibly buy the first hemp house available.
Well, I want it all now,
that's not
Billy.
bad.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. But that's because you've had whiskey, mate. You're getting impatient.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's
I want my
exactly what it
cannabis
is.
house now.
I want it now.
But yeah, it's progress all the same, isn't it? That's all we can hope for. Progress. Step forward.
So is that another positive story?
Oh, there we go. I think so.
Yeah.
Could have 2 in a row. Look at that.
Fucking hell.
Thanks for that positive thing there, Billy. We
Here's
got
another
actually,
positive
yeah, we got
thing.
another positive one. Oh my gosh, it's such
Well,
a
I was just
happy
gonna
show
say though,
today.
like, even if you look at the poll that you put up, 37% of respondents think that you'll have home grow and legalization within 10 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's take
Look at that.
while Margaret
Positive.
brings up. I'm going to end this poll. Let's see what the numbers were at the end here. Let's have a look. So the question was, will the UK legalize within 10 years? No was 36% as a straight out a third of people pretty much. And then yes with home grow, same amount as no,
See?
which is also 36. And then yes without home grow is 26. So collectively, what's that? 62% of people out there think that we will legalize recreationally at some point, and then there's a certain section of those who think we get home grow. So that's it's not
That's
bad at all.
positive.
That is, yeah, it's positive. That's good,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Keep up that positive vibe, man. That's what we need. You know.
That's it. Keep smoking your own weed out there. That's giving
right.
that positive vibe out there.
That's
Keep
right. So
going.
Margaret, you were saying, sorry.
I was talking about the poll.
Yeah, and then you were going to go into the news article smoothly and professionally.
Oh, yeah. Well, I missed that opportunity. So we're going to go to the Daily Mail for this article. Only a quarter of those
Boo.
found
Sorry.
with
Boo.
cannabis
Sorry.
are charged by police as forces are accused of going soft on the war on drugs.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Pew, pew, pew. So, I mean, that's kind of exciting if it's true. I don't know if that's been the experience of anybody in the chat, whether they feel like the cops are going lenient, but let's see what they have to say. Police forces have been accused of going soft on cannabis after figures revealed 3 in 4 people caught with the drug last year were let off with an informal warning. Data shows that despite 68,513 people being found in possession of cannabis, only 17,000 were charged. The rest were largely subject to a community resolution, which does not go on an individual's criminal record and in most cases simply means a warning not to do it again. The maximum penalty for possession of cannabis, which is in the same category as amphetamines, ketamine, and the
Wow.
date drug, is 5 years in prison or an unlimited fine. What's an unlimited fine?
Yeah, I
don't
suppose it's
understand that.
it's like however much money you've made off it or something. Is
Well, no, it's an unlimited means there's no maximum amount that they could say, well, that's £1 million
Oh, I see.
fine. That's £1 billion fine. As you owe
Right.
us $1 trillion for that. There's no like
Right.
the max you could charge is
I
5,000
see.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's kind of crazy. Last week, 14 police and crime commissioners called on policing minister Dame Diana Johnson, MP, to upgrade cannabis to a Class A drug and said it was more harmful to society than heroin. They also hit out at
wow.
Mayor of London Sir Sadiq Khan's backing for the decriminalization of possession of small amounts of the drug. The latest figures, which are from a Freedom of Information request and are based on the 12-month period leading up to September 2024, shows a wide discrepancy between police forces. Avon and Somerset have the most robust approach, charging almost 4 in 5 people caught last year, but Thames Valley in Hampshire charged only 1 in 8. Huh. In Wales, Dyford Powys
Yeah, I think
charged
Powers. Yeah.
charged just 8.6%, while North Wales and South Wales forces took action against more than half. The Metropolitan Police charged 2,929 and gave out of court sanctions to 11,057 people. Overall, 51,000 people caught with cannabis last year did not face court. Of those, 44,000 were dealt with via a community resolution. 3,600 were given a caution. Just over 1,000 received an official warning, and 2,300 were given an on-the-spot fine.
Wow.
And the rest of the article just talks a bit about the crime commissioners, but one of them said cannabis decriminalization approved a dangerous social experiment elsewhere in the world. I think citation needed for that comment.
What a fucking fool.
I
Oh my
know.
gosh.
I know. I'm thinking it is pretty obvious though. A lot of different police agencies, I guess, police forces, or for different districts charge
You have to
people
call them police service now, Margaret, because police
police
force is a little
services.
bit too harsh and it offends people. So basically, call it the police service.
Well, I guess they are oftentimes serving and protecting
That's
public
right.
property, but
That's
you know.
right.
But yeah, that's kind of interesting because one of those police services um said they were charging 1 in 8 people
Yeah, and it's
who were
good, isn't
stopped for
it?
possession. Yeah, I think
It's good to see.
honestly
Yeah.
it just shows that they're like obviously not as concerned with people having possession of cannabis because it's not a real crime.
But what would be good to see? What were the past figures of this? Like in the past 20 years, how has that rate fallen or risen? You know, like now, is it less people now than it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago? That would be interesting to know. I do feel that way. I feel as if people are, well, the police would be a little bit more lenient towards cannabis users, but that's because I'm kind of in an echo chamber. I don't speak to anybody who thinks that cannabis is a bad thing, but those people are like legitimately out there. So just because I don't speak to them doesn't mean that they don't exist. So it's easy to get into an echo chamber and, just think that everybody likes cannabis, but they don't. There's still plenty of people out there who think it is actually the devil's lettuce and you will die from using just one cannabis.
Right, except the actual police officers that are on the ground are deciding at the moment that it's not worth the time and energy. So maybe it's not quite so devilish.
Yeah.
As we like to think, because they're obviously dealing with all kinds of bullshit.
Yeah, they've got a lot of other stuff to deal with, Margaret. Let me just say that,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's no shortage of things, so why bother with cannabis? They should just decriminalize it, and then we can move towards your legalization, medical legalization. But to say that it didn't work somewhere else, that's crazy.
Yeah. Can I just say, like in the article, it said it's more dangerous than heroin, didn't it? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did somewhere.
Yeah. It's like it's not. That's not because of the physical side of things, but as a controlled by cartels and gangs on the street, then it is. Because at the minute there's more people buying and trading in cannabis on the street than there is heroin, and this is being done by balaclavaed masked gangs driving around on bikes and shit.
Allegedly.
Fuck off, it's true. In London, if you go anywhere after dark and you come across these gangs, you will get fucked over. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I had to leave London as well. Like it's fucking sickly dangerous. And cannabis, the illegal side of the cannabis is mental, and it's down to regulation. That's what's dangerous. Is because of the prohibition, it makes it fucking stupidly dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's because it's so rife. It's everywhere. It's far more people are using cannabis than they are heroin. That's what makes it more dangerous to the police. So it's got nothing to do. If it become a Class A, it's even more dangerous than coppers, because then they're going to start shooting and stabbing you coppers up to not go to prison for that long. You fucking dickheads. So what the actual fuck? Like, do you not understand how many of these there are? There's 12 dudes with masks, and there's 2 of you coppers. It's like fucking dickheads. They're all just going to jump on you and stab the fuck out of you. I'm sorry, but I lived among these people. I know the mentality. It's why I had to leave. Yeah. So like,
and we just got Ash in the chat there as well. Quick shout out to Ash, who said he loves these lives. I like that. Thanks for saying so, man. We appreciate the kind words. But he also said, I'm getting really fed up of living in London. That's a shame, man.
It is. You need to leave, man. It's getting really dangerous. It's sad to say. It's so sad to say that. But people do have to leave. It's fucking mental. I don't want people to do that, but it is. It's gone fucking off it.
Anyway, we was on such a bright fucking happy vibe, 3 good stories, and then Billy comes along like stab, London.
I even found a story where it was just like, you know what, cops are really arresting people for weed, and and
calm down, Billy. Can't get a sip of that whiskey down you, bro.
I will do. Where's that? Where's the Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, that'll do.
I've got some Dr. Pepper. I'll pretend there's whiskey in it.
Beautiful. Reality leaves a lot to the imagination, is what they say, Billy.
I would say that tastes woody, but then you'd start pulling out jokes.
Like, giggity goo. Anyway, this next story we have here, I don't even know what the fuck these guys are talking about. Let's have a look. Maybe this is good, maybe this is bad. We'll see. Small island, big vision. Medical cannabis as a catalyst for economic growth. And if anybody keeps an eye on the UK news, we definitely need some economic growth over here right now. Last year, we spoke to the CEO of a business Isle of Man, Tim Cowsill, about his organization's plan to open the door to medical cannabis and welcome businesses from across the world to set up shop on the island and build their facilities. A year on, and with the foundations laid for a well-regulated, innovative, I got it third time around, export-focused market to thrive, Cowsill tells Business of Cannabis that these ambitions have evolved and the Isle of Man now hopes to position itself as a trusted home for high, no pun intended, high-value, high-quality cannabis production. Written by Tim Cowsill. Hold on. Did you just speak to yourself about the third person then? Did you get that? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So.
He's one of them. Grab your salt, everybody. Take a pinch. Most people associated the Isle of Man with its world-famous TT motorcycle races or its well-established financial services sector. That means tax haven.
I was just thinking that. Isn't that what that means? Isn't that where people are hiding some
Isn't
money,
it brilliant
so
the way you put that, though? You know?
I think that's a great way of use of words. That's a brilliant use of words.
Yeah, this guy's good. Well done, Tim. Well done.
Well,
we salute you.
How do you think all those multi-billionaires...
There's no money stashed here. Move along.
Sleep at night. It's just a financial services sector. I don't know what everybody's so upset about.
Oh gosh, indeed. Yeah, it's one of those. It's that imagination thing again. Isn't it? They think they're doing good. Thank you to the billionaires. Thank you, billionaires, for keeping us all happy, and thanks for keep the economy running, billionaires.
Oh God.
Anyway, but quietly and confidently, our island is taking bold steps towards building one of Europe's most exciting and high potential new industries, medicinal cannabis. See, I put it there with the dread tone, medicinal cannabis. I'm doing what the mainstream media does, just making it sound actually a lot more nefarious than what it actually is. The global cannabis sector is arguably one of the most transformative developments of its generation, with the potential to significantly improve quality of life for millions around the world. For the Isle of Man, supporting the emergence of this sector is also a strategic economical imperative and part of a broader vision to diversify our economy, double GDP by 2032, and create 5,000 new jobs. Look at that! These guys... Look at the benefit of just legalizing the medical cannabis like that, double the GDP, That's hefty, and create 5,000 new jobs just on a small island like the Isle of Man. That's crazy. We began laying the groundwork in 2020 when the Isle of Man government announced its intention to welcome medicinal cannabis firms. In early 2021, we legalized the cultivation, distribution, and export of medical cannabis. Since then, we have developed a well-regulated, export-focused framework that supports innovative... I have trouble with this word, it seems. Framework that supports innovation while maintaining rigorous standards. Business Isle of Man, an executive agency with the Department for Enterprise, is leading this effort. We're supporting medicinal cannabis companies from first interest to full-scale operation. Our aim is simple: to position the Isle of Man as a trusted home for high-value, high-quality cannabis production. Being a small, self-governing jurisdiction gives us an important edge: agility. Our nimble regulatory system is structured to respond quickly to emerging opportunities. This adaptability is evident in our medical cannabis sector, where we've created a transparent, responsive licensing process enabling businesses to plan with confidence and scale efficiently. It all sounds good, this does, doesn't it, Billy? What do you think here?
Well, it seems positive, doesn't it? Especially like 5,000 jobs. That's like, let's have a quick check. I'm just typed it in. There you go. Isle of Man population is 85,000. So that's
damn. So 5,000 is
6%. I would say 6% of the island's population could get a job. That's a fucking large chunk. Like,
yeah.
If you switch that over to the UK, then whoa, you're fucking shit, man. Yeah, then you're talking like 5 million jobs. So it's
surely it won't be that many, but it'll be a lot.
Well, if you scale it up, we've probably
Mm-hmm.
got like 70 million. So if it's 6% there, 84, then it's going to be like 5% of like what the 60 million here. If you know what I mean, or 70 million here. So yeah, that works out to still like 3 to 5 million jobs.
4.2 mil, I think.
There you go.
It's
Nice
a lot of people,
use
man.
of numbers. Yeah, so
I think that's correct. I don't know. I just did some quick maths in my head, and
yeah,
maybe
but
it
that
was
do
incorrect. Yeah, it's
for
close
quick
enough.
for quick maths. That's close enough, isn't it? Just as a rough guess.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of jobs. It's a lot of money. You know, it helps the economy tick over as it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So
Damn.
yeah, it's that's what I'm saying. And as I said, it's going to double the GDP, and
Massive
for a
amount of
small
money as
island
well.
like that'd be a big thing because then they'd be able to provide all the services the island needs. Because even though it's a small island and it's still not as great to live there as people think. If you know what I mean, it is a struggle to live on that island. I've known a few people to live at a couple. I've known a chef that lived on there and lived and worked there, like obviously as a chef, and so it's quite hard living on the island.
Hmm.
Like, just because lack of everything. If you know what I mean, you have to
Yeah.
sort of
Right.
pre-plan stuff, a lot
Everything
of
has
stuff
to be
ahead
shipped over and
because
stuff.
everything's shipped in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you have to sort of think 3 months ahead a lot of the time. What do I need for then or then or then?
Yeah.
When's it
You don't
coming on the
realize
island?
what a limitation that can be sometimes until
Yeah,
you
till you
live
got to do
there.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more remote than what people sort of give it credit for. The island, man.
Right.
It's,
So let's see what happens here then, because they say that they've legalized the cultivation and all that shit for medical, but they haven't. Like, if you're at home and you want to grow for medical use, that doesn't mean legalized for you. Everybody.
No. And
yeah.
also this also sounds like I don't know.
They've got their own jurisdiction, so whatever goes
It's
on there
by
stays there.
big
It's got
business
nothing to do with
for big
its
business. And I
separate
think
governance.
he says
So if
things
it,
like diversify our economy, double the GDP, 5,000 jobs. I'm like, I would like to see citations on all those
Yeah.
statements as well, because they
yeah.
love to promise shit and then it doesn't actually happen.
Well, that's very pessimistic of you, Margaret.
I had to take my
but
turn.
stand like me now. It's
You know?
your turn. Yeah.
Jesus. But yeah, interesting story. We'll keep you informed as the developments move forward. Everybody. Yeah. We have one more then, Billy. Is the last one from you? This LEF Brands.
No,
Or
that
is
one
it? No,
was
it's
me.
Margaret. It's Margaret.
That's
Yes.
Yeah.
Margaret. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
What
need
do we
me
have
ranting
there, Margaret?
again. Fucking
No,
hell.
calm down, Billy. Calm down. Gosh.
So this one, what is it called? Was there a title?
LEF
Where? Oh, there it
uh,
is.
The leaf.
Leaf spout
Brands.
wrong.
Well, I'm sure we're gonna find out what. Maybe it's an acronym, but LEEF Brands prepares to harvest over 1 million cannabis plants. That's a lot.
1 million.
That's 2.4 square feet of California-grown Mary Jane.
2.4 square feet.
2 million. Did I not?
2.4 million.
I was going to say that's the size of my tent, and I can get 1 million plants in that. I was thinking, what?
See, I was trying to.
What am I doing wrong?
Trying to. Yeah. Okay, that was a pretty big word to miss.
Yeah.
California cultivator LEEF Brands, known on the stock market as LEEF and LEEF, will be completing one of the largest cannabis harvests in United States history within the next few days. When was this
As far
published?
as we know, they could
Right.
they're going to be loads bigger than this, bro. But you just
Yeah,
didn't find
as
out because it was
publicly
illegal.
documented in Mugglehead magazine.
That's right.
The extract specialist will be processing over 1 million pot plants spread through a 65-acre patch of land on its Salisbury Canyon Ranch property outside of Santa Barbara. Their yield will be used to produce vast quantities of oil. Leaf started planting the farm's first crop in February after obtaining the licenses necessary from state regulators. The grower aims to boost the organic weed field size by over 120 acres within the next couple of years and solidify its stature as one of the world's largest cultivations. Leaf's permit is valid for 187 acres. That is a gigantic farm.
You know, I'm saying, how the fuck did they get consent for that? I want one of those.
Well, it helps to be in California, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But The company recently boosted or boasted that its cultivation footprint is currently twice as large as Cureleaf Holdings. Chief Executive Officer Micah Anderson says production from the site will start having a positive effect on the company's balance sheet by the end of the quarter. Leaf is currently growing only one cultivar to be used for concentrates with this batch, but he said the next one will be more diverse. We have a summer harvest on the way, and we'll replant for a fall harvest," said Jesse Redmond, Investors Relations Manager. "The plants should be beautiful and reeking of OG terps. I love my job." I guess so.
Yeah, you jammy bastard.
The aim will be to grow 20 or 30 different strains in the autumn crop. Some of it will dry, some of it will go towards oil, and a lot of it will go towards frozen, Anderson explained. The farm has appreciated, but business remains unprofitable despite all that weed. In a video shared on social media Tuesday, Anderson claimed that a recent appraisal determined the ranch was now worth about 4 times as much as Leaf has sunk into it. The grower has invested over $13 million into the project. On another note, Leaf recently entered a dispensary management partnership with the popular operator Glasshouse Brands, Inc. Unfortunately for Leaf, Glasshouse and other state operators, California just upped its excise tax on cannabis by 4% to 19%. I think we covered that story not that long ago, which is a pretty big jump. This will take a toll on the production yield from Salaberry's Canyon. Leaf also expanded its operational footprint outside of California by getting a cannabis processing license in New York last month. On the financial front, Leaf boosted its revenue by 19% year over year in quarter one at $9.4 million while cutting losses substantially. Additionally, the company observed an 81% increase annual rise in California sales in quarter two. Despite those positive balance sheet details, the cultivation and extraction expert is currently unprofitable and reported adjusted EBITDA of negative $0.8 million in quarter one. This was attributed to increased expenses at the ranch in preparation for the impending harvest.
Damn.
Well, they make a lot, but they don't make a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go.
They got into the business.
Acreage.
Sorry. Yeah. It's like they got into the business expecting they'll make shitloads of money, but didn't realize about all these hidden taxes that are put in there by the state and by the federal government. Bullshit, man.
Because everyone wants a slice of the pie because they know it's worth a lot of money. So like, we want a big chunk of that. Yeah. Fucking cartel, wouldn't they? Allegedly.
Yeah, Billy the Kid in the chat said cannabis has become a cash cow, in my opinion. And that's it. It's just all these people jumping in, trying to take their piece, trying to make as much money off it as possible. When realistically, if it was grown and sold at decent prices, I think it would be similar prices to coffee. I mean, because it's similar. You know, you can grow a certain amount of coffee in a certain acreage, do the same with cannabis, produce it, ship it, just like you do with coffee. Same
also,
shit.
You can produce different qualities. Yeah. Different types, different brands. So like some brands will be slightly more expensive, some will be slightly less, isn't it? Some will be better and more premium buds and be premium brands, and they charge a little bit more. But you'd pay a little bit more, if you know what I mean. But again, you'd pay a little bit less for something just for standard, something you want for breakfast. You don't even want nothing fancy, if you know what I mean. Not everyone wants to smoke top quality, high THC bud all day long, if you know what I mean. So it's like give people the options, and I think commercially we're sort out a good price. Yeah, it's going to be much cheaper than it is now, but some prices will drop.
Well, the thing is, this is in California, right? So there's these guys here. They're in California, and they're about to harvest 1 million cannabis plants. So if you need some part-time work or something, get in touch with these guys. Grab a pair of scissors. They're bound to have people, jobs for people to go and trim some buds for a while. That's a whole fuckload of plants. Oh my goodness.
That's fucking trim gel, isn't it, man? Imagine doing that yourself.
Oh my god.
Wow, God, that's like purgatory, you know.
That's where we're all going to hell. That's what we're all getting when we get in hell. Yeah.
We haven't decided which way you're going yet, so just grab those scissors, start trimming them plants.
I think we should have that discussion.
We'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? You couldn't get much. Is there anything else to do with cannabis what would drive you an endless do forever? You've got to do it forever. You're never going to
getting runoff up. That's also a pain in the
Yeah,
ass. You don't get
runoff
that
is a
trouble
pain in
because
the arse.
you grow organic.
At least
so you don't
trimming,
get
you
that.
could sit down and you could
Oh.
chill out with some music and shit.
Yeah, podcast on or
Yeah,
something.
it wouldn't, but yeah, podcast on or something.
But you
yeah,
could
but
never
with-
change the
with-
podcast. How's that? The podcast is on repeat.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Yeah,
Come on,
and
stop
it's
it.
Elvis.
and it's Joe Rogan speaking to that Egyptian guy. What's his
No,
name?
no, you can choose.
Zahi
yeah, no,
Hawass.
you can choose the podcast. Maybe that'd be your only piece of
Yeah.
heaven. You get to choose
Yeah.
the podcast. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that'd be promotion to heaven, because that could be heaven, just trimming forever. So, yeah.
Yeah, good
There you
times,
go.
good times, good
Good
times. That's all the stories, right? We done there? Is that
Yeah,
it?
yeah, we're done
Yeah.
now. We're trying to end on a positive note there,
Sweet.
mate.
Hey,
It was.
man, this was quite a positive episode.
It's been
Imagine
that way,
that.
isn't it?
Did we actually
Apart from the
have
odd
it?
ranting and shit?
Apart from the only things that made it unpositive was me and you getting off, and Margaret. Yeah, you're in it this week, Margaret.
Yeah,
You know?
Margaret ranted
Margaret's
off this
random
week.
rants.
There you go.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But all pretty positive this week, which is good, man. It's about time we had some positive news. We got those guys making the CBD and psilocybin medicines for people. That looks like it'll go ahead. We got economic growth in the Isle of Wight, which is also good. Only a quarter of people charged for possession of cannabis, which is good. But these guys are about to harvest 1 million cannabis plants. I don't know about that being good news. I don't know. That's up to each individual opinion, I think. And then a push forward for the industrial hemp hub in the UK as well. So yeah, this is all positive, I think. It's all good. We had a good episode today. You know what I'm saying? We've also got announced this month's member of the month, and we have decided who it was going to be. I've forgotten who it is. It's in the moderator section, but yeah, I'll get that done tomorrow for you all, everybody. We also had the winner of the plant of the month, which is SG2. Was it SG2? Was it the one? I don't even know. Fuck. I should really add these to the show notes so I don't forget. Professionalism.
Professionalism.
You know
Let's go. Let's go.
roll.
Bring
It
it
was
out of the bag.
SG2 and somebody else. I can't remember who was even in the poll now. Gosh. But it was a tie, so it had to go through a few more days. It had to be 3 more days on the poll to decide the winner. Both beautiful plants. Go and check them out, everybody. Any other news other than that?
No.
I don't
That's
think
all
so.
the news, right? It's all the news, man. Right then. Let's go smoke break. Ready for smoke break?
Yeah.
Let's go. That's a nice avatar you have this week, Margaret, by the way.
Thank you.
Very
I was trying to
groovy.
have some vibes. It didn't feel like it was hot as hell outside.
Yeah, hence the icy mountains.
Yes, exactly.
You have air conditioner in Canada, right?
Yeah, we all live in igloos. No. Yeah, of course we have air conditioning. I shouldn't say of course. I know a lot of places.
No, I
don't
mean
have
like
it,
in
but
your house. You have it in your house, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, what excuse do we fucking have then? Because the excuse that the UK has is like, oh, we only get warm days for a month of the year, so we don't really have
Yeah.
aircon. It's like, hold on, but Canada don't have it as like we do, and they have
Yeah, but
loads of snow and ice.
That's
we won't
true.
be able to use it in the UK. The price of electricity, mate.
That's the problem. Fuck.
Yeah, it could be that. And it gets really hot in the summer here. Like, yes, it's cold as hell in this
Yeah.
winter time, but in
We
the
get
summer
kind
it's
of
pretty
mild
hot.
here in the UK.
Yeah.
35 is about the highest it would go. And that would only be like one freak day somewhere.
Right.
It wouldn't
35
be
is hot.
prolonged.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not prolonged. And it's rare we get those kind of heights. 30 is high,
Mm-hmm.
But they'll measure some random place in London and be like, oh, it's 36 here. And it's like, because you're measuring on like a lump of tarmac in the middle of the city, something. But, that's just the hottest place. Look at this Viking here in the fucking chat. Fuck you, Viking. He says Macky's a bad influence. Is that right? Is it, mate? Is that right? Fucking had me up slaving over beats all night. Oh my goodness! I can't believe you, bro. I can't believe you
Yeah,
just
he's a
come
bit
here
of a slave driver, isn't he?
just to accuse me of that. And that's absolutely terrible. But yeah, he's been making beats on the old Suno. Remember that interview we did with Doctor what was it? Fuck's sake, I don't want to pronounce his name.
Sure, he
I'm
were
forgetting
making
everything.
beats over your picture.
Yeah, he does that too. That's part of his morning
right.
routine, I think.
Oh god, that's what wakes him up, I suppose.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah,
That's what
but-
gets him up in the morning.
Well, I've got I've been doing some Motown on there as well. I've been making Motown over the weekend over on Suno. Do you know what Suno is, Margaret?
No.
It's this AI music software where you can just
Is this
make
the one where
music.
you made this song before?
Oh yeah, I've sent you links before. That's right.
Yeah.
But
I think I have played around with that before.
yeah, it's good fun, man. I've been making
Oh, look,
Motown this week.
Firetop's playing with his at the minute.
That's right. Firetop got himself pro for a month. Nice, bro. When you figure out how to cancel the payment at the end of the month, let me know, because I haven't got a clue. And I'm like the third month now.
They make it that difficult, do they?
For real, I've looked through the whole profile. Like,
I
how
hate
do
it
I
when they do
cancel
that.
this? You know, it's a pain in the ass, isn't it? Fuck.
That's
Yeah.
funny, that is.
When companies make it that difficult, I'm like, this even feels like a red flag.
Yeah, you bastards. So
When
now
I
I'm
have to
going
like look up in their help section, like how to cancel my account or like cancel a payment or something. I'm like, yeah.
What can you
Shady.
do? Yeah, it's shady as fuck, and it's not like it's expensive. It's just like, god damn, man.
No, I know.
It shouldn't be this difficult. There should be simply a button there for me to cancel subscription.
There is a law in
Easy.
the UK that says that, but it depends on where they're registered as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Probably Isle of Man.
Damn. Yeah, maybe not paying any tax,
That's right.
but it's fun. It's fun. I got a musician friend reached out to me today, and he sent me one of his songs, a cover he was doing. I was like, "You tried Suno?" It's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh." I get to explain what it all is and shit, and he's loving it now. He's out there playing in Suno, making some songs and shit. It's just so cool, man. And it gives people who don't have access to it an opportunity to make music. You know, maybe some people out there writing poetry, be like, "Oh, I'd love to turn this into a song, but I can't play any instruments. I don't know anybody who plays anything. I can't sing. I can just write really nice poetry." And then they can just bang that shit there into Suno and be like, "Yo, make this into a song for me," and it'll do in the style of this, you know, Green Day or something. You know, you put the style in you want, and it'll make it for you. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. And I was talking about movies, you know, how it's not going to be long before we have just full AI movies as box office. But it also gives people like us, ordinary people who don't have 2 million as a high budget to make a movie about something, but we got a good idea for a movie, we'll be able to make this shit at home pretty soon.
That's what I'm
That's
looking
cool,
forward
right?
to.
You know?
Making
Jurassic
movies
Park
and shit.
34. An actually
Yeah,
good
exactly.
one. Speaking of random movies, sorry about going on tangents, everybody, but Margaret, did you see 28 Years Later yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, Billy, seen it?
Nah, mate.
Ah,
Even though I was winding you up about it last week.
yeah, you bastards.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I want to rant about it, but I don't want to spoil it for
He
anybody.
was going on about how bad the second half was, and I just started
So
agreeing
bad.
with him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Billy's seen it. He knows how bad it is," and it convinced him that he was right. So I just thought, yeah, I'm
That's
sticking
so
with that. I'll
funny.
keep winding.
Thanks, Billy.
him up.
I appreciate your
Right,
support,
mate.
Billy. Very good.
That's all right. No worries, mate.
John Lewis in the chat said, "Seen Jurassic World 3D today. Not that good."
No.
Yeah, I've heard
That's
this
not
from
surprising.
everybody who's seen it. Has just gone on about how fucking terrible that movie is. That's really bad, man.
It is though, because all movies seem to be really dreadful. If I mean, like everything is just like you're like, boy.
When
is
was
it
the
ever
last
gonna
time you seen a
change?
good one? You know,
Yeah.
the last movie I seen, what was
Top
good?
Gun was okay.
Ugh.
It's
Top Gun?
okay. Yeah, the new one,
Ugh.
Top Gun Maverick. It was okay, but it still
Yeah, it was
wasn't
okay.
that great. It was okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, a
You
great
know what
movie. I don't know.
Do you know
I
what the
don't think I
premise
have.
behind the original Top Gun was?
What do you mean?
Like the meaning to the movie?
No.
I guess no. Yeah, look that up, bro. Look that up. The original movie. You would enjoy the original meaning and why it was written in the way it was. That's why Billy likes that film. You're saying. But the last movie I seen, which I thought was good, like a new one, was Don't Look Up. I love that movie. You know?
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, I would say that was a good one.
yeah,
I
it's been
did
a while
enjoy
since I've
that
seen that,
actually.
but yeah.
I can love that shit, man.
Yeah. I can't think of anything I've seen.
And for the
then.
first half of 28 Years Later, I was like, oh my God, man, this is such a fucking good movie. I'm really enjoying this. This is well written, good cinematography, good soundtrack, good script writing. This got me involved. And then the last half, I'm like, what the actual fuck did they do? Why have you done this?
Really?
Yeah,
So it
so
really
sad.
did not end in a way you liked. That's
Oh,
interesting.
not just end in the way I don't like. The last
The
half
whole
of it,
second half. Okay.
so
You're not
The
fucking.
whole
convincing me to
hour of
go
the
watch
movie
it.
was shit.
No, I'm not telling any. If anybody hasn't seen it, don't go waste your money spending cinema fucking tickets to go see this shit. Wait until it comes out for free on Netflix. All right, it's really not worth spending your money on it.
Especially buying cinema popcorn at like 10 quid
And
for
then
like
you're
half a
gonna
bucket.
watch it, right? You're gonna watch it halfway through. You're gonna be like, "Oh, this is so good, so good." And then the second half, you're gonna be like, "Macky was completely fucking right. What the actual fuck was that? Why did I just waste my money?" But yeah, goddamn, such a shame. So, and the worst thing is, I was so optimistic for the first half. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's so good. I'm really fucking enjoying this." And then it, wow. And it seems as if there's many other comments online because after I've looked up loads of reviews and shit, and most people agree. It seems like it's a movie of two halves. The good half and the bad half. Damn.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah. But what can I
Iron
think?
Eagle. I don't even remember that film. Even Back Blast reckons it's better than Top Gun.
I don't think I ever saw
I
that
think
one.
Hunt for the Red October is actually better than both of them.
Yeah,
Oh, I remember
Pig
Hunt for
just
the
said
Red
in the
October.
chat there. I just want to. He says I was going to waste money on cinema tickets. I'm now hesitant. Oh man, don't make me put you off, mate. I mean,
Go make it.
if you just
don't waste your money.
if you
Unless
just
want to
go
see
have
the
a
movie on big screen because it's
yeah, that's
different,
it.
innit?
Yeah, and you want to go
It's a
spend
cinema
it's like a night
experience.
out with the wife. If the wife's like, "Oh, I want to go out and watch the movie. Can we go see it?" Don't be there like, "No, Macky said it's shit. We're not going." It's like go and have a nice evening with the wife or the kids or whatever. If you want to go spend time
with the kids,
then cool. Yeah.
horror zombie movie.
It's a 15. It's a 15, man.
Oh, what?
So,
That's
yeah, you know what I'm
fucking
saying.
shit, innit?
15
No
and
wonder
legit.
Fucking
Spoiler
hell.
alert, everybody. Skip forward like 20 seconds if you don't want to fucking get spoilers. Just put mute on. Ready? Put the mute. Spoiler alert. Put the mute. That's right.
I've muted you now.
It's a 15, but in it is the alpha zombie who has a massive cock. Massive cock. It's like his third leg just slapping in between the other two as he chases after people. All right.
Really?
Yeah. So why that's a 15, I don't know.
That's
I don't know why
hilarious.
that's acceptable for 15-year-olds, but whatever. Fucking yeah. But
I
if you're gonna
muted
go,
you.
just go see.
Did I miss the spoiler?
Oh yeah, you would have loved it as well. I believe it was your kind of thing.
What? Oh, I bet you loved the spoiler, didn't you? You loved it bashing in your face or something.
Well, bro,
like
I
that.
seen it at the
Big
fucking
spoiler in your
cinema, so
face.
this thing was taller
That's
than
what
me.
I mean. Like, how big it would have been, yeah. You just
That
got to
is
hang on
pretty
it and
funny.
go for a swing like Tarzan. Well, look,
They're watching it in 3D, dodging it as it runs
he
past.
started beating his chest and going, oh,
I don't want to get hit in the face here. Fuck.
innit? Duck, quick.
Sorry, but yeah, good movie. Everybody, go see it. You'll love it. Anyway, it's 4:20. Smoke, everybody, smoke.
Yeah, I'll light it up then.
Yeah, I should hit this mighty before we go on to the grow guides. That was pretty funny. Gosh.
Yeah. Tasty.
And apparently they're making another one. 28 years
28
later,
days.
the Bone Temple is what it's going to be called. Making
Has everyone seen Squid Games as well?
Yeah, you see the end of that?
No.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay.
I
Haven't
see
seen
what
it
you
yet.
mean about LA. They definitely want to make more, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's going to be apparently American version is going to start production in December.
Definitely. Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be the American version because of how they ended it there. But then you can't blame them if it's worth a lot of money. Americanize it, send it to more audience in another way because the amount of actors, the studios they can use, the bigger budgets, sort of thing, it just changes a lot of things.
I should really do a live stream sometime in the week, and just do a rant about 28 years later. Be like, okay, I'm gonna go. If you haven't seen it, don't carry on from now. All right, but this is what I'll think about this fucking shit movie. Yeah, but don't watch it if you haven't seen it. Spoiler alert. And Squid Game as well, same thing. It was decent though. Spoiler alert in chat. Gosh,
yeah, I'll spoiler at Fire Top.
Spoiler, fucking hell, bro.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's a bit like you know who's gonna win, then, didn't you? Really?
Yeah, and the fact that it only took 10 minutes. It's like, come on. I was there for like 30 hours at the first one.
I know what you mean there, innit? Yeah.
God damn. But with that, are we ready to move on to the grow guides? Talk about some roots.
Might as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
roots and culture
let's
and
give her a go.
That's right. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Good luck, everybody. Let's go to the grow guide. So we've discussed in the past how to identify issues with your plant. You know, if it hasn't got enough nitrogen or potassium or CalMag or any of that kind of shit. If it's got bugs on it, we've covered all of that. And this is all stuff you can look at the plant and know that there's something wrong with it. But if there's something wrong with the roots, that's usually, if you're in a medium like soil or cocoa or anything like that, you don't really get to see the roots. So you can't tell what's wrong with the plant by looking at the roots. You have to be able to look at the top part of the plant and know, oh, look, this has got this symptom showing. That's probably down to something wrong with the roots. So that's what we are discussing in this episode here, how to diagnose root problems and then how to fix them if you ever come across them. So nice and easy, really. Episode 49 of the Grow Guides. We've covered a lot of shit so far, haven't we? God damn.
Yeah, when I looked at the list, I was thinking, fuck, that's a big long list there. That's like nearly a year's worth of fucking Grow Guide shit. Fuck.
So what do we even cover now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I mean.
I think next week will be episode 50, and I think we can just do that as a recap of all the episodes that we've covered so far. You know, a recap of growing in general. I think that would be a nice way to do episode 50. But this one, we're talking about roots. And the biggest problem you're going to have when it comes to roots is, well, there's going to be two different problems, but the biggest one is going to be root rot. Margaret, you want to talk about root rot? Have you had this before?
No, I've never had this before, but that's when your roots begin to decay due to lack of oxygen, usually caused by overwatering, poor drainage, or pathogens like pythium. And once the rot sets in, the roots turn brown, mushy, and start smelling foul, like rotting vegetation. Sounds delightful.
Yeah, it smells like rotten eggs.
I think that's the problem with hydro. Once it starts rotted, it's really difficult to stop that sort of thing.
Well, actually, you would think that, but when I grew in hydro, when I did the DWC, yeah, I did get a little bit of root rot, and it stinks. It's like rotten eggs kind of smell. It's real bad.
DWC is a little easier to deal with because you can just chop it, though, can't you?
Well, yeah, you can cut out the rotten root.
Yeah, when using the mat, that's quite bitch to deal with.
But then, because it's a sterile medium, when you grow in hydro like that, you can just use H2O2, and you add that shit to the water, kills off everything, and then it kind of gets rid of the root rot.
Yeah, it's just a bitch really to deal with, though, because you've got to clean out all the pipework afterwards as well. Though, otherwise, you can just continuously get that problem. That's what my mate found. Anyway,
pain in the ass, man. Not very common though. Right?
Properly after you get it, it can be recurring.
But you ever got root rot before, Billy?
Yes, but well, only through my friend's system. Like I said, when he was growing, he'd explain because, like I said, he used mats and hydro. But in the soil, I got it a couple of times, but it's only with the smaller 25-litre pots where I'm now with the living soil in larger pots. Then no, it's not, because it dries out easier. Medium, there's airflow, so it doesn't have that issue. But in 25-litre pots, I did find that sometimes I would have that issue. You know what I mean? Just because it wouldn't. Sometimes it just wouldn't drink the water up. You know what I mean? So it just sit there in the pot, and then that'd cause a root rot, and then it wouldn't drink the water up. So it'd be like just a knock-on effect. So once that started, then it's hard. You've got to really dry the pot out completely to then go again. Yeah, so that's a bit of a bitch again.
What about you, Margaret? Have you had root rot before?
No, I don't think I've ever had the root rot. Root rot. Yeah.
It happens when you just overwater, pretty much. You know, when the conditions of the soil or the grow medium is not ideal for the roots, and things get trapped, especially if it gets waterlogged. You know, I've transplanted my cactus this week. I don't know, many of you might not know, but I have a fucking epic Peruvian torch cactus. It's like 2 feet tall now. Beautiful. Fucking wild cactus. And these cactus, they produce mescaline, and you can legally grow them. It's just a cactus, Peruvian torch.
No, is it like not San Pedro?
Yeah, San Pedro, similar. Yeah, I've got a San Pedro too, but that one's just small. That one was like fucking 5 inches, 6, not massive.
Can you just buy those at like any old garden center too?
Maybe in Canada. In the UK you can't, but you can buy them online.
Right.
like 40 quid, 40, 50 quid, you know?
Huh.
Yeah. So, and it's just nice to have those things. I enjoy those kind of plants. But I've transplanted that this week. And to prevent root rot in that, because I've transplanted it and watered it, and I shouldn't have done that apparently. And I have to wait 3 to 4 weeks now before I water it again to just prevent root rot. So, because it doesn't just happen in cannabis, it happens in loads of plants. And it's just because of the amount of moisture in the medium. If there's too much water, not enough oxygen can pass through, nasty bacteria will grow, and then it will start attacking the roots and it will start the rot. It's as simple as that, really. You know, you got to keep the medium clean and not waterlogged. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how you prevent it anyway. So in soil, Billy, you want to talk about in soil because you grow in soil. Well, what does root rot look like in soil? What does the plant look like when it's suffering from root rot when it's growing in soil?
Yeah, the problem with soil is obviously you can't really see your roots properly. So so you just got to watch for the leaves get a bit, especially the bottom ones, they get like quite droopy. They go yellow, like despite the moist soil sort of thing. So yeah, you got to watch for that. Also, your pot just feel heavy for too long. You know, it just maintain the water, and that's when I notice it is like it's still looking moist on top and sort of thing. Like you lift it up and it's like actually that's still like it's just been watered and shit like that.
And it's
That's
been
when
5 days.
yeah. So you like but if you can then sort of like scoop some of your edge of the thing around like that, they go dark brown, sort of obviously because they go mouldy and dying black slime. They'd be slimy is the main thing. They'd be like brown and slimy. And like Macky says, like you smell your fingers and it just smell off. You know it's like rotting. You get that off smell and you're just like, oh yeah. And that's really the only way you can do it because it's mixed with the soil, isn't it? So it depends on how much you want to check in. So just stick your hand down the side of the pot so you're not disturbing like the center root ball, and then you can sort of grab a handful maybe there, pull them out, have a look and a smell because the edge few wouldn't matter, so that you'd know sort of maybe from there. But again, you to do that, you'd more already know that it's the size and weight of the pot is what's important. Like I found at 25 liters in organic soil, I had one or two issues with that with some of the plants. I'd get a little bit of root rot, or so I just let it dry out completely, sort of thing.
The smell is the biggest giveaway, I think. For me, when I've had root
Mm-hmm.
rot, I could tell simply by the smell. Like, that smells fucking shit. You know, cocoa
it smells
soil.
like shit.
It's so bad. It's not a pleasant smell to smell. And usually, if you're in your grow tent and you're watering the plants, if everything's good, everything will smell fine. But when things start to go dodgy, you'll start to have a nasty smell. Because if you have soil and you water it, that smells delicious. Not like you want to eat it, but you know that fresh smell.
Yeah, it does
of
have like a
watered compost?
soily smell, doesn't it? Yeah, and it's quite a nice smell. Yeah, it gives you that's they say about that. That's actually
so when you
uplifting
take your dog for a walk in the woods and he takes a shit, but you're not smelling the shit. But you know how they scratch? Like, yeah, look at me, I took a fat shit, look at that, and they scratch the floor and flick stuff everywhere, and that releases the smell of the forest floor. And it's just like, that's a fucking great smell. That's what you should be smelling when you're watering your plants in soil. And if you're not smelling that, there's something wrong. Well, if you smell and it's like, oh God, rotten eggs, what's it, like cheesy, bad dairy, you know, that kind of smell. If you're smelling this at all and you're like, oh, that don't smell good, then there's something wrong. And it could possibly be root rot. And, you know, to fix that, just you need to let the medium dry out a little bit. That's the best way. Anyway, just look out for that smell. God damn. And you'll know it. You'll know it. You know what I'm saying? In cocoa coir, similar to soil, but symptoms come on quicker due to higher porosity because cocoa holds water for a while. Watch for droopiness, leaf curl, and wet feet feel. And often starts from poor runoff or salt buildup restricting oxygen. And that's it. If you're letting the plants sit in a runoff tray for a while after it's been watered and it just sits there in the runoff, again, it's the water buildup and the lack of oxygen. So that's going to start to kill off the roots.
I find the wet feet feel kind of an odd comparison.
Yeah, that is a bit odd, isn't it? Yeah, I don't really get that.
I'm like, what's a wet foot feel?
I think it's like at the bottom of the pot when it's left in runoff for too long. That can be, and it's just the bottom of the pot is staying wetter than everywhere else. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
It,
It
and again,
just
but
made
again,
me
it's the
laugh.
smell. The smell is the main thing. If
Yeah.
people can just keep an eye out for the smell, if the root zone doesn't smell healthy, then there's something wrong, and it's probably this root rot shit. You know, in
Mm-hmm.
hydro DWC, you got brown slimy roots floating into the reservoir. That's right, because the thing is with DWC, you can take a look at the plant's roots, and if there's any brown, dark yellow, floating shit, and again the smell, you know, in the reservoir, then you have a root problem. In DWC, the roots should just be this massive big ball of white loveliness. You know, maybe just a little bit off white, depends. But
That's what I say. Same, my mate said, like this stuff that when it all breaks off and it goes through your system, it then just continue to rot away in your pipe
mhm.
works and all of that. So you've got to clean all that shit out. Otherwise, it can then just cause more issues from and then afterwards.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
just clean your shit out properly afterwards. Once if you
Mhm.
get root rot
You know, it's
in your
oxygen is
system.
such a major thing for it, and this is the
Yeah,
same with soil, cocoa, DWC. If oxygen can't get to the roots, then the bad bacteria is going to grow. The
start blocking
anaerobic
up your air
bacteria.
pump and all that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get right fucked up just from some leftovers which you didn't clean out properly. It's like nah,
Mm-mm.
fuck.
Yeah, man. So as long as you can keep air getting to the roots and letting it dry out in between, unless it's cocoa, of course, make sure you just keep the cocoa going every day, you know. But don't let it sit in runoff. As long as oxygen can get to the roots, it'll be fine. As soon as that has a problem with that, like with the DWC, big DWC, like you know, if you got a reservoir and shit, then well, it's hard to explain. The reservoir, if you because there's two different ways of growing DWC. If you're growing with a reservoir and you just keep that oxygenated and the water's running through all the time, it's going to be fine. But if you're growing individual buckets with individual air stones, standalone like that, then the root zone gets so big it stops the oxygen getting to the top of the roots and shit, and that can even cause problems. So though you're pumping oxygen into it, it's not getting it up to the top of the root zone, and that can cause root rot and nastiness as well. It's so much goes into it. But if you're in a big reservoir pumping around, it's not the same thing, you know, because there's oxygen getting to it. Yeah, oxygen getting to the root zone is the important thing. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent there. Does anybody else want to say something?
No, you're doing great.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. But
No problem.
it's just that oxygen is the important thing. If oxygen isn't getting to the roots, it will start to rot, and then it will smell funny, most likely like eggs. And if the roots are dodgy and the root zone's dodgy, your plant's not going to eat properly. So it's going to show all sorts of symptoms of, you know, yellowness, wilted, things like that. But anyway, so how can you fix these overwatering and anaerobic conditions? You want to talk about that there, Margaret?
Yeah, if you're going to attempt to fix this in soil or cocoa, you want to stop watering until the pots feel dry and light. Improve the drainage by mixing in more perlite. Add worm castings or microbial tea to outcompete the bad bacteria.
Hmm.
Avoid compacting the top layer of the soil. And another option is to use fabric pots for better airflow and evaporation.
Nice. Nice and
Yeah,
easy.
if you keep the top layer of soil, keep mixing it with your fingers, like don't let it get compact and
Mm-hmm.
solid up, because then it's easier for the like for it to breathe from the top. Because if it
Mm-hmm.
gets compact at the top, then it's harder for obviously the oxygen just to break through. It acts as like a barrier because obviously it's soil, it can be quite solid, it can turn quite sort of concrete-y. Yeah, everyone must notice who grows in like living soil, if it gets really dry, they knock the top, it's quite solid, and you have to scratch it a little for it to break through it. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you to not get to that stage is best if you're having them issues. Obviously, you can't always do that, but it's good
Yeah.
to play with your soil anyway and
Is it
smell it
again?
because then
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Macky says, you can smell the soil and you're like, that smells good or it smells bad. And then that'll tell you how your plant's doing, sort of thing.
Yeah, that airflow is so important, man. Just making sure that oxygen can get there, because the oxygen will feed the good bacteria, and if there's no oxygen, the bad bacteria will thrive. It's as simple as that, you know. You've got to keep
Yeah.
that fresh
Not
air
really
getting
saying
to
you
the
need to
soil.
finger the soil and give your fingers a good
Mm,
sniff, but like
no,
you probably do.
no, no, Billy. Thanks for that. Thanks for
Oh,
that, Billy.
sorry.
We're gonna in hydro, so you just immediately check your air stones and pumps, because I've had this shit happen in DWC, and I had an air stone for each bucket. I had 4 buckets, had a stone in each one, and like I said, the roots grow so big that the oxygen just doesn't flow around the root zone like it's supposed to anymore. and that can become a problem. And the air stones get blocked by the roots as well. The roots grow so fucking big, and that can stop oxygen getting to the roots, and that can cause root rot. But just lift up the lid on the bucket, have a look inside, see if the roots smell funny, or if it's got any brownness or dark yellow, or just roots floating around the top, shit like that. Just check out for any of that kind of stuff, and if there is any problems, just change the reservoir. Either the full reservoir or the bucket it's sitting in as well. So you can just add some H2O, hydrogen peroxide. That shit's real good. That kills it off real quick. Just chop away the rotten roots, get rid of those, add some H2O to your water, and that will kill off a shitload of bacteria, but it also kills off the good stuff as well. So bear that in mind. And also, if you're in hydro, keep the reservoir temps below 20 degrees C, and you shouldn't, but it's less likely to see root rot. If the oxygen stops getting to the roots, you're going to see some root rot, but keep it below the 20 degrees as well, and you should be fine. But damn, it can be concerning to find, but it's really easy to fix necessarily, because you just got to stop too much moisture getting to the roots, and the oxygen will get in, and then it'll be a lot easier to fix. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Keeping your pH in that at a good level helps a bit as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about pH swings and shit?
I suppose that's next, isn't it? There you go. There you go. So the ideal range for soil is meant to be between 6 and 7. Cocoa hydro, they reckon between 5.5 and 6.5, but also depends on your sort of your system and all that as well, doesn't it? And how much if you're using reservoirs and shit as well, that type of thing. So, but they reckon that's there. So what goes wrong is you get your pH swing, especially from poor quality newts or irregular feeding. So so that is important as well, to get your feeding routines right as well, sort of thing. So watering with high or low pH causes cumulative damage, which is, again, you don't want to let it build up, because that's just going to give you more and more issues. So you should always check the roots, really. Do you think, how often do you reckon you should check your roots in these DW systems? Did you reckon, Macky? Did you think?
Well, I mean,
you got to lift it out, lift the lid up, so you got to sort of disturb the plant a bit. But do you think that really disturbs the plant enough that if you've done it?
When I grew in DWC, it doesn't matter what the fuck you did to them. They loved life, man, and they just wanted to grow. It was ridiculous. I was inexperienced when I did DWC, so I would be there changing the buckets every day, like 4 20-liter buckets of water being changed every day.
With them, checking them
so
each day,
I could see the roots every day, but I still did get problems the one time where I don't know, the root zone got so big it strangled the air stone to the point where it just wasn't.
So they're saying sort of, because you need to check it almost every day, because if you said you check it a day and then you had one time you had a problem, that's saying it took one day to get a problem.
Yeah.
So
in
DWC
it happens fast, man.
Sort of
problems occur fast in DWC.
Especially, I suppose, when the longer they get, the more issue you're going to have, because obviously there's going to be less space. They're going to grow quicker then, because they've got more to feed to then grow. Yeah, it's like a cumulative effect is important.
Yeah, check it as often as possible. That's the best thing.
Yeah, sort of got to check for the acidic environments, for pathogens, not microbes. Microbes. Also, it's covering the water as well, wasn't it? It's an important thing to do. Cover your reservoir properly to stop the light.
Yeah,
because that helps stuff to grow as well, sort of thing, and kill your roots. So that's the thing. So a lot can go wrong. Problem with that, isn't it? If you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's sorry.
I guess just gonna say I forgot now, but yeah.
It's just easy to deal with the shit once you find it. You just don't want to find it. You can prevent it in the first place by just doing the right shit.
Bitch.
Yeah, just let enough oxygen get to your root zone and you'll be fine. Don't leave your plants sitting in runoff, because that's going to cause problems. Make sure if you're in a full hydro setup, make sure you are keeping the air stones bubbling, and it should be fine. And then if you're in soil, make sure you're going from wet to dry cycles, and it should be fine. You should never really come across these issues as long as you're taking those kind of precautions, but they do still happen, especially when you're a new grower and you haven't had it yet. And then when you do have it once, you'll be like, oh fuck, not letting that happen again, and it won't happen again. This shit happens as well. It's a learning curve. But damn, yeah. Did you say if you've had root rot before, Margaret? You said you didn't.
No, I've never had it.
No, because you used to grow in DWC as well, didn't you?
Yeah. But you could see, yeah, I mean, you could see the roots, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just never an issue that came up. Lots of other issues, but not that one. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Did you use any microbes and shit like that?
I don't remember using microbes at all.
No,
No.
because that was back in the day, and we didn't know such things as clever as microbes back then.
Yeah.
You know, like for real, this is new shit. There's so much to know about cannabis now compared to there was 10 years ago. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So been so much.
Yeah, massive amount of study gone on, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah.
In that
We
side
know
of
so
things,
much
yeah.
more
Rather
now.
than studying the plant, studying how it grows and the mediums we're using, sort of thing. Especially about soil.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love
So
the new living
you
soil
can
stuff.
use some beneficial microbes and enzymes as well to fight against root rot. You know, when you've so far we've been check the roots off and as often as you can. Keep smelling the runoff. If you're in soil or cocoa and you're getting runoff from that shit, you can smell the runoff. And if it smells too dodgy, like eggs or sulfur, then that usually means there's a root rot issue and you need to address it there. But easy to address either way. And just let the medium dry out for a bit, and it will address the rot in the roots. Unless it's really bad, but it shouldn't really get really bad if you're staying on top of things. But if it's really bad, you got to cut that shit out and then replace the medium, let it grow again. Ugh. I'm sure I've done that before as well. Or maybe I've blocked that out. So
Yeah,
it's
I find
tragic.
myself
that's
doing
trauma
that
you don't
sometimes.
need. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck that shit. Because, oh my God. When you first start growing, you really have no fucking idea what you're doing. And back in the day when I started, there wasn't much internet you could really visit to try and get help. And I remember just like using, it was a bucket that when you're painting the walls, you have like a bucket with a handle on it, and it's rectangular, and you can measure how much paint's in it and shit. So, and that was wide. So I was like, oh, I can just put 3 fucking tubs here, and instead of using big buckets, I'll just use this little thing here and put plants in it. It was like an improvised a cloning tub, you know them cloning things. Anyway, I put an air
Mm-hmm.
stone in that shit, and it's just bubbling up the whole time. And the roots in that got fucking wrecked, man. I had to trim them off and everything because they were just they were brown, falling off themselves anyway. It was so bad. It was so bad. This shit happens, man. That's what I'm trying to say here. God damn. But yeah, just make sure there's enough oxygen and you don't fuck around. Jesus, that was a bad memory. Sorry. Just suffering some trauma
There you
now.
go, brought back the trauma now. Yeah.
Yeah, god
Mind you,
damn.
the new WD system, the new deep water culture systems are basically a lot better now. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get less issues with this because they
Mm-hmm.
sort of have the space and depth and can deal with it.
It's a great way to grow, man. But you'll make mistakes along the way, and you can't use the microbes and enzymes in DWC usually anyway, because you try to keep that sterile. But do you want to talk about microbes and enzymes, Margaret, that you can use to prevent root rot?
Yeah. Sure. Just find the
Sounds
thing.
enthusiastic.
No, that's not it at all. I just lost my spot. Anyway,
Yeah.
using beneficial microbes and enzymes. So, as we were just talking about, they break down the dead root matter and convert it into usable nutrients while out competing harmful pathogens. Were we just talking about this? No.
I don't know. Well, I don't think we're
Okay.
talking about pathogens that much.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just stoned. So, some of your options include your mycorrhizal fungi, which is great for early root development. Your trichoderma fights off
Boo.
pathogens
Fuck you, trichoderma.
like pythium, and enzyme products like Canazyme or SLF 100 to break down dead roots, or compost teas or natural Korean farming inputs like what's LAB?
Lactobacillus.
Oh,
Lactobacillus. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it like that. And you're going to want to apply any of these treatments after transplanting, after flushing, and if you suspect root issues and you want to prevent them proactively.
Yeah. Prevention is better than cure and all that, right?
Always is.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And basically, you're just going to mix it into your feed or water directly into the medium. And avoid combining with strong chemical fungicides or H2O2, and use weekly to maintain a healthy root zone.
Yeah, that's it. Again, prevention is better than cure. And if you go through the right kind of steps, like making sure your soil's drying out in between waterings, not all the way dry out, but don't leave it damp for the whole time. And then you're getting rid of runoff as well, so it's not just sitting in pools of water, staying wet for the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That's in cocoa or soil, because it can happen in both. If you're just letting your cocoa sit in a pool of water instead of collecting it all, then the roots at that level are going to start to go rotten, and that will spread. So just don't leave your plants sitting in a pool of water either. And then if you're in full hydro, DWC, NFT, that kind of stuff, make sure there's plenty of air stones getting into your reservoir, so there's lots of oxygen in your water, and that will prevent the rot from happening as well. So all of those preventatives should be taking place in the first place, depending on what medium you're in. So make sure you're doing that. But if you do get root rot, there's other ways to get rid of it. And like Margaret said there, you can use the nice bacteria, some lactobacillus to flush through it and get rid of some of it like that. Use some H2O2 if you're in a full hydro setup, and that will work in cocoa or DWC, because they're sterile mediums anyway. But I would just use the H2O2 in just DWC and full hydro mediums. Like, we're using full water, shit like that. Wouldn't pour it into rockwool and cocoa and soilless mediums like that. I wouldn't think that was a good idea, but an option if it's really bad. Yeah, you shouldn't be seeing it anyway if you're letting it dry out properly in between waterings. And there's always, with those two, with the soilless mediums like rockwool and cocoa, then they have a good air to soil ratio in the first place as well. So even if you're watering those every day, they're drying out enough where enough oxygen can get to the roots too. That's why those mediums are so good. So you shouldn't see root rot in those mediums unless you're letting that shit sit in the runoff, because that's bad. Yeah.
Yes, bad.
Yes, runoff not collecting is bad. Man, it's shit pain in the fucking ass though. God damn. I still don't know a good way to collect runoff. I've tried many different ways, and I've seen techniques like, use a wet vac and you can just vacuum up the runoff. But when you...
Oh, really?
You can't fucking vacuum at 11 o'clock at night, can you?
No, that's not realistic.
It works depending on what your feeding time is. And then I've tried different ways, like
siphoning pump.
Time.
Yeah, siphoning pump is easy. Yeah. Anyway. Right, I would use, because I've used air pumps with DWC in the past, and that's got a little plastic tube that goes from the pump itself to the stone. And I don't use that anymore, so I got those plastic pumps, cut them in half, and then you're able, as long as your runoff tray's raised up a bit, then you can like siphon the water out of that. And as long as the runoff tray's lowered down, you can filter out the water like that in a siphon method. And that's how I used to collect my runoff, because then I could just
even build a collection tray with its own like funneling system, so it run out itself.
But then you have to drill a hole in things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, yeah.
But
with the siphoning
at 11 p.m.
Yeah, indeed. or getting runoff in your mouth because you're trying to siphon the fucking runoff.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Use living soil instead.
That's a good option too, Billy. That's a good option too. Yeah, so pretty easy to avoid, but if you do get it, pretty easy to fix as well. So it's nothing you would really want to worry about too much. And if you do get this shit, the kind of thing you're looking for, if the plant doesn't look like it's drinking properly, that's because either you're not watering it properly, and then if you are watering it properly, it's because of the root rot. Pretty simple. Plant will look yellow, droopy. The smell from the runoff or in the reservoir is a dead giveaway. If you can smell that eggy, sulfury nastiness, smells like bad dairy sometimes, like bad cheese, bad milk, then
smell like your old dog farts.
Yeah. Very bad. You don't want that, especially when the dogs get the cheese tax. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, you don't have dogs, do you? Don't know? You know about cheese tax?
Cheese tax? It sounds like I do.
Yeah, cheese tax. Cheese tax. The cheese tax. You know that?
No, I don't know that.
Whenever you get fucking cheese out of the fridge, you have to pay the cheese tax to the dog.
Oh, right, for the dog, yeah.
I see it happen all the time with my kids' dogs.
Tell me in chat, please, somebody else knows the cheese tax. There we go. Viking knows, I'm sure. But please, God.
No, mate, they're all saying that you're mad in chat.
Maybe my dogs made their own fucking videos so they can put it up on TikTok so I'd see it and then be like, oh, I need to pay cheese tax just because they love cheese so much. Yep. Viking knows cheese tax. There you go. And Hawaii sustainable. Yes, the cheese tax. You know what I'm saying?
That's but all dogs just want all food you have anyway. It's just food tax to them. It's like, is that food? I want it. You've got it.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So it don't
Yeah,
really matter what
that is
food you have in
true.
your hand, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even if they don't like it, they still want to take it off you and walk off with it in their mouth just to sniff it for 10 minutes to make sure
See,
that they
Firetop
don't
knows
like it.
about cheese tax as well. There we go. I'm not crazy. Well, I am crazy, but I'm not the
No,
only
you
one
are
who knows
crazy.
about cheese tax. All right, there are other cheese taxpayers out there. Yes, thank you everybody for keeping your dogs happy with a little bit of cheese
There's
tax.
chicken nuggets in this house.
Yeah, I mean, and just to carry on here, get back onto the grow guide to finish this shit up here. We have the root zone temperatures as well. This is an easy way to keep control of that. You want to talk about root zone temps, Billy? You on that?
The root zone temps.
Yes.
Well, basically, you just got to keep your temperatures good temperatures. It's between about 18 and 24 if you're in soil and cocoa, because obviously you want to not too warm, not too cold, which is like the temperatures you want it for your plants to be in anyway. So it's all just in your ideal temps. Hydroponics obviously lower, like between 18 and 20. You don't want it to get too hot because obviously the water, that gets too hot. You don't want the water to be too hot.
Yeah, once it gets too warm, there's not enough oxygen in it.
Starts to cook it up a bit, and then obviously more pathogens grow in that warmer, lovely temperature. They just want to lay about and go, "Ooh, yeah, man, we can
Well, if
breathe
I
in
was
this
a
nice,
pathogen,
lovely."
I would like to live in nice warm water
Yeah.
as well.
Well, they'll grow next to like volcano vaults in the sea and all that, don't they?
Yeah. And be like, oh, this
So
is
like,
the shit.
yeah, man. Like this is the cool shit. Like about 2,000 meters down at sea, and there's a volcano vault, and there's like all the pathogens living there. So they're going to do it in your plants too. So basically, managing it is obviously keep it off cold floors. If you've got a concrete floor, old rugs are good to put down. Obviously, cover it with some tarpaulin so it don't get wet and go mouldy and shit. Carpet tiles in a fucking bin bag keeps it off of cold floors on a stand. So sort of like cold floors are not good because it just going to keep the bottom of your root thing cold, and then obviously that's going to then
that concrete sucks the heat out, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah, man. And avoid setting tent directly onto concrete. So I said, like, you need old carpet, just cut it up. You can get old carpet from fucking anywhere, man, sort of thing. So in hydro, use water chiller or frozen bottle rotation. So yeah, just keep it cool, like we were saying last.
Yeah, that frozen bottle rotation is a pain in the ass, though.
Yeah, it is. It is a bit, but you can do it if you really have to. So consider using infrared temperature guns as well to keep your sensors on the root zone, sort of. So just keep your eye on it, but that's a bit technical in a way. You can sort of not have to worry about that too much. So this says warning signs here, like again, droopy leaves, like they might perk up a bit at night, but like stunted growth is an important thing. The plant don't always grow as tall, especially during veg stage. If it's getting that problem during veg stage, it'd be a bit stunted. Or it won't stretch so much in flowering and shit like that. It won't be eating the right nutrient uptake. So you start to see signs of nutrient deficiency sort of quite quickly because obviously the roots are dying and not able to eat. So yeah, that's the problem. Yeah,
that's it, man. Pretty simple, isn't it? And I think we've said enough
the
times
longer you lose it, you leave it, the worse it gets, in it. So the bigger the problem comes, and like with everything. So just keep an eye, innit?
Yeah.
Keep a smell out.
That's the first thing you're gonna notice is the smell. You know, be like, hold on, this root zone don't smell fucking correct. And then if it smells like the sulfur or the rotten eggs, then you need to treat it for root rot. And it depends what medium you're in from there. But essentially, just dry it out. Make sure that it goes dry because that root rot won't survive when it's dry. You can use some H2O2 depending on what medium you're in. Some beneficial bacterias. Lots you can do, man. So, and you shouldn't even see it in the first place, to be honest. It's a very rare occasion, and if you are seeing it, it is easy to fix just by trying out the mediums. Just do that. And it's important to keep the healthy roots because that's how your plants eat and how it drinks. And if you can't eat or drink, it's going to die pretty quick. So make sure that you keep your root zone healthy. You know, but by now you should pretty much have that down. I don't know. We've explained how much of an impact overwatering can have, and this is just another one of those. And so just be very careful. Water properly. Make sure that technique's down. Don't let them sit and run off. Don't let the soil be wet all the time. It needs to go wet to dry. And make sure your air pumps are running in hydro. And you should be fine from there. Right?
Right.
I think so. Really not much more to add other than that. Anything to add about root rot? Anybody got anything?
No.
No.
Missing anything? No. I think we're good.
No.
Yeah. Just keep the root zone Well, oxygenated, everybody. How much will it reduce leaf temps? I don't know. That's not a question for us, I don't think. Yeah, so that's it. Keep an eye out for root rot. If you smell it, get rid of it. Nice. Ready for listener mail? Oh, yeah, listener mail. Let's go. So we have a couple. This was from last week as well, I think, but we just didn't ask them. We have one from Sparky Dave. General question, which maybe applies more for hydro growers, but what's a good frequency to calibrate testers and meters? Weekly, monthly, once per cycle? Also, what metrics are the most important to keep track of? Temps, humidity, EC, pH. What's all the must-have info for indoor growers and the best ways to measure? Nice, good question. What are you saying, Billy? What do you deal with your grow? Because you're in living soil, so it's a bit different for you. What's your method? Do you have meters?
No, I have none. I look at it and think, yeah, is that water or not? And then pour it in.
Right.
It's quite easy that way. That's why I like to live in soil. You don't have to worry about EC, pH, and all that shit. And you got to think, is it water or not? Is it wet?
You know what I mean? Well, what do you think, Margaret? Because you're growing indoors now, right?
Not right now, but
All right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's a really good question. I don't remember calibrating the testers and meters that often when I was growing before. So it's probably one of those things where you should probably do it more often than you actually end up doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get a
sure.
massive spike, it can really fuck your plants. So,
for example, I've never
daily,
calibrated mine.
Right. Exactly.
And I know I should, but I don't.
It's like the thing you do, you set it up, and then you're like, yeah, it's good forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a good thing to add here then, because you're talking about calibrating testers. So it's good to have two testers, right? And then you can balance them off each other to make, because you might be able to put one in the calibration fluid and do that shit. Say once a month is a good amount of time to do it, but it depends on the meter, you know. But once a month it tends to be the rule of thumb, as they say. And you just recalibrate that shit, and then you can test it against another meter to see if it's accurate or not. And if you have 2 meters, you just bounce them off each other, then you're going to start knowing if they're not actually bounce them off each other, bounce the reading that they give off and see how much they compare to each other. And then you start to know if any of them are starting to fail as well. But once a month should be plenty, you know, as long as you're storing it properly as well. You know, with a good EC meter, for example, and actually for pH meter as well, you want to try and keep the probes wet. Because if they dry out, they gather salts on them, which, you know...
Always keep the lids on them. That's really important.
Keep the lids on them. Keep them wet. There's proper
them.
ways to store that shit. Make sure you're storing them correctly. But once a month should be good, you know? And, yeah, just... It's important to have. Now, which one is most important to keep track of? pH, man.
All of them.
No, pH is... Yeah,
definitely.
If you're not keeping an eye on your pH...
That's going to fuck your plant proper, innit? Kill it in 2 days. Sort of
especially if you're in hydro. Because temperature, if you're growing indoors where humans live, which you probably are as a home grower, the humans are happy in the same kind of condition as the cannabis plants are in. You know, so like 20 degrees is good. That might be a little bit cool for the plant, but it's not going to die. And then up to 30, then it's not going to die. So you don't necessarily need to monitor temperature and humidity. You do it. I'm not saying don't do it, but as I said in last week's show, if things start getting too warm and there's nothing you can do about it, just stop fucking monitoring the temperature. The plant will do what it's going to do. It never really gets too far out of those ranges to become an issue. And then with EC, if you're just following the guides on like the nutrient bottles you're getting and shit like that, halve it at least. You know, because they always tell you to use too much. Advanced Nutrient, for example, that was telling you use 4 milliliters per liter of this and that. But no, use 2 milliliters per liter, and that should be plenty. You rarely have to feed too much when it comes to EC, and you can balance it. Look at the plant. Oh, it's a little bit dark. I'm overfeeding a little bit. Oh, it looks a little bit hungry. I'll up the feed a little bit. So you don't necessarily need an EC meter either. But pH, that pH is off.
Acid water for fucking a few days. Like,
pH is the most important thing, man. And when you're growing in soil, people would say, oh, you don't need to measure pH. But for me, as a hydro grower predominantly in cocoa and DWC, pH is so fucking important. And it's important in soil as well. People would underestimate how important it actually is and be like, oh, you don't need to check it. Depends on so much. Better to just make sure that the pH is in the correct range for the medium you're growing in. Because otherwise, plants ain't going to eat. Nothing else matters after that. So just make sure that you have your pH in the right range. That's what I think. I hope that, I think that answers your question there, Sparky Dave.
Yeah, I think that's well answered.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
think,
You'd be
Margaret?
well
Anything
happy.
to add on that one?
No, that all makes sense to me.
Yes. It's all
Yes.
important, but pH is the most important. There you go. Right, so we have one here from Clock and Hayes. Thanks for the question, bro. Anyone know of a good pain relief strain, specifically for chronic pain? The THC strains I have grown help a bit, especially as edibles. If there is a good one you can recommend, I'm going to try get a couple of seeds and run it to my next auto disfran run. Cheers all. Thanks for the
I
question,
would,
man. Yeah, what are you saying, Billy? What do you think about
I
this?
would say, like we were saying about CBD stuff earlier, I would say grow a CBD plant, and add that to a high THC strains if you can find it, because
Mm-hmm.
the anti-inflammatory would make a
Mm-hmm.
big difference. You need that
Yeah.
as well with because that's what causes a lot of issue as well, is the inflammatory. So that if you can sort that out. Strange enough, also I'd look at using balms and creams directly rubbed into your back and onto your
Yes.
spine, because there's, if you know what I mean, that would really help if you can make your own balms with some THC oils and CBD oils or whatever you're going to use, and that would make a real big difference as well. So I'd say if you're having spine issues and stuff, I would use balms and creams a lot more, because I think that
Mm.
would have oil would have a direct application, would probably have a lot more use for the inflammatory, which could be causing some of the issues.
Mm.
Just from what I've seen other people use, if you know what I mean.
You agree with
I
that
can't
then,
live with,
Margaret? Yeah.
oh, 100%. I can't live without my topicals. I mean, I use
Oh, there you
cannabis
go.
every day,
See,
but topicals are also amazing.
What do you
Yeah.
use them
yeah,
for,
when
Margaret?
used correctly, it's
What do I use it for? I have like a lot of low back pain, so I
Mm-hmm.
use it on my back a lot. That's like mostly where I use it for pain relief, but yeah.
And
there
then
I
you
use,
go,
you
from the
rub that
horse's
on,
mouth
and
as such.
then you rub
what's
that on,
that?
and the pain goes away. You don't get bothered by it.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes it takes a bit of time for it to like soak into your skin for you to really feel the full effects, but
Yeah,
Mm.
the
yeah.
absorption, I suppose,
Yeah,
time is awkward.
there's still
Yeah,
an
yeah.
absorption rate, but it's not like it's maybe 15, 20 minutes or so.
Mm.
And yeah, a lot of the times it really does like eliminate or reduce the pain for a period of time.
Yeah,
Like sometimes I'm putting it on a few times a day, but usually a minimum of twice a day.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I recommend to anybody who wants to use cannabis for medicine is to get out there and try as many different cultivars as possible. You need to go to Barcelona or Amsterdam, or if in USA, anywhere that's legal, and try as many different ones as you can. Each different strain is going to have a different effect on your own endocannabinoid system. So the more research you do to figure out which one is going to be the best specifically for you, it's
Mm-hmm.
just going to take some research, man, before you find out the right one. But what Billy said there about the CBD, adding some CBD to your diet, you know what I'm saying? So you're not
Mm-hmm.
smoking 25% THC strains, you're more smoking 10% THC, 10% CBD. Beautiful.
Oh no, I'm talking about smoking the 25% THC strains with a
With
Yeah,
CBD
mixed
strain,
in.
CBD.
and yeah,
Yeah. So you
on top of it, yeah.
diluting it.
Yeah, well, just not diluting, just adding loads of CBD to the THC. So instead of having like
Mm-hmm.
point
Mm-hmm.
0.3, 0.1 or whatever, you're having like 8% CBD, or 6% of the joint is CBD, and you would notice a difference. Like you'd be like, oh yeah,
I
I
think
like that sort of
CBD is quite
counterbalance.
underestimated.
Oh yeah,
For us
totally.
old
Yeah.
school smokers who have been smoking
Yeah, man.
before cannabis was
Yep.
medicine, then we're like CBD. Oh, that don't get me high. I don't give a fuck. But really, CBD is such an important factor with this whole cannabis thing, man. And us old school recreational smokers, we don't appreciate it for what it is. But when you do start using it, when you try it out for the first time, and be like, hold on for a second, this actually does help with my pain relief or my mental health or loads of different things. CBD is an amazing substance, man, especially
Mm-hmm.
when mixed with CBD. So try that shit out. Even if you're old school and you're against it, like, nah, fuck CBD. No, try it out, man. You're really going to enjoy it.
But the
You-
reason a lot of old school people, and that includes myself, weren't like into so much CBD is because nobody grew it back in the
Yep,
day when it was
that's
super
right. Yeah.
illegal. And
Hmm.
so we're only just finding out how great this stuff is
Yeah,
now, since, yeah,
for
last
real.
decade or so.
I love CBD. Like a CBD one to
Also,
one strain. Very nice. What you say,
there is
Billy?
actually there is sort of meant to be legal CBD hash available about as well. So that's like a grey area still, but yeah, you can get like some CBD hash. Strangely
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
enough. because of
Beautiful.
hash. Obviously, I have to
Yeah.
mention hash.
Of course, you have to mention the old hash. Jesus, man.
Hashish.
CBD is so underestimated, I feel. It's such a beautiful substance. Cannabis is such a beautiful plant on its own, you know. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
The amount of things it does for us. Beautiful. Along with the psilocybin as well. I got mushroom grow going on quite well right now.
Oh, do you?
I think I don't have any contamination so far. Fingers crossed.
Nice.
I'm like a week away from fruiting, maybe.
Ooh,
About 5
that's when
days.
things get really exciting.
That's right. So
You
yeah.
wait, and then, bing.
And you know, for like my last 2 or 3 mushroom grows, they've all got contaminated, man. I've had such a bad run. So the fact that I'm even still sticking with it right now is just shows how much patience I have. Fuck. Hopefully it works out this time, man. But it's looking good. It's looking good. Random attention. We should do an episode on mushroom growing, you know.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool. When we finish the grow guide, you could do a quick one on
I
mushrooms.
mean, how much more can we do for the grow guides? We're on
Yeah, I
episode
don't know,
50
that's what I'm
next week.
saying.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe do 52, because then it's a year's worth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
I suppose. Yeah. Yes, we should. Macky says Viking. Yeah, man. Mushrooms. Or, you know, just natural medicines on their own. Beautiful things. So did we answer then? Are we happy with that?
I think we answered them questions.
We're good for clock end haze there. I don't think we have any more questions. I don't think there's any in the chat. Any in the chat? No. Let's give him a second to reply just in case. I don't think so though. But yeah, everything just about covered in that episode.
I think so.
Yeah. And of course, share this series with somebody. You know, if you know anybody who wants to learn how to grow cannabis, there's 49 episodes here, all about an hour long each, that takes you through step by step everything you need to know about growing cannabis. And look, we don't go to like university level shit, but if you want to learn how to grow for your own, then you're going to be able to grow a lot of nice cannabis if you follow this guide. You know what I'm saying?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man.
Viking said cautionary tales on how to respect the shroom. Yeah, some people got to learn that the hard way though.
As well,
Viking.
Yeah.
Viking took he grew some penis envy.
Epic dose.
And he took he just ate one penis envy mushroom that weighed 5 grams, and he wondered why he had a bad time. You know.
5 grams.
5 gram penis envy as well, Margaret. This is like the strongest cubensis there is. And this motherfucker just like, yeah, man, I 5 gram one of these, which like if it's a normal strain. No, that's a 7. Oh, 6 grams, he says in the chat. Jesus.
Nah, that's funny, mate.
Yeah. That's excessive.
That's a lot. Yeah, that is excessive.
Calm down. Jesus.
Yeah, you don't need an ego death. You're fine. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm going to have some more soon as well during the session.
Yeah, that would be fun. We do a mushroom session. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we should, shouldn't we? All because I'm the only one that's done mushrooms and then sat in a session, isn't it? I don't think.
Oh yeah, and
else.
you took the piss as well. You had like 5 grams or something. What did you have? You did 3-5, didn't you?
I done 3-5 of your penis envies.
That's right. Giggity goo.
Your PE2.
That's right.
So
no, 6. PE6. Penis envy 6. It is.
PE6. Oh, what's it? PE6.
Strongest cubensis. Anyway, if you want to hear some mushroom episode in the future, let us know, everybody. Be like, fuck yeah, tell us about mushrooms. We'd like to know that. And then we'll do an episode on that as well. Because why the fuck not? But for now, I think it's time to move to the outro. Are we ready for the outro?
Yeah, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Outro down.
So there we go, a nice professional episode there, everybody. Shout out to John Carlson, who couldn't join us today because he's not feeling very well. I hope you feel better soon, bro, if you're out there listening. It's a bit shit. It's not cool when people are ill, you know? Yeah, shrooms. Let's see about that next week, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it'll be done by... Well, maybe I'll be close to being done by next week. I'll let you all know. I'll keep you all informed. Good fun, though. But is that everything then? I think we're all good to go, right? And what's going on Bite Me side of things, Margaret? You had a good interview this week, right?
No, that was last week. I do have one coming up with a fellow from what's called Benevolent Bakery, and he's making like infused like cake and cookie mixes, which is really interesting. So I'll be interviewing him soon. And then I had on the guy Death by Cannabis, the author of Death by Cannabis, which is a book that he wrote. It's like a murder mystery that takes place in a Ontario grow up. It's a super fun read. I would recommend it, but he's coming on my show soon too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, my boy loves Titanic. You know, the ship Titanic that sank, the movie and shit. He knows so much about this stuff. And he got this random information pack this week about the kind of food they made on the Titanic. Like, what did the first class passengers eat and things like that. So this kid, he's gone and cooked today. He cooked a random item, like the main course of the first class meal of what they were served to on the Titanic. I can't pronounce the stuff. It's a filet mignon with all this shit added to it. And he's gone and cooked it himself and all that shit and made special brandy sauce and all this stuff. He's only 11 and he's managed to put all this stuff together.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Like, goddamn, that's some good shit as well. Nice one, kid. Nice one. Yeah,
tasty like shit, but anyway, he tried.
And a little filet mignon. I mean, come on.
That's right.
It's getting a bit posh, that is, isn't it?
But then I was taking the piss, like
5-star first class meals and all that. That's sounds a bit slavery getting 11 rolls to cook you a fucking 5-star meal.
As a dad, you know, you got to search for these jokes sometimes. And after I've eaten this delicious, I was like, I've eaten this delicious first class Titanic meal, but I haven't had any delicious first class Titanic desserts. What are we gonna have? Ice cream. You see what I did? See that ice cream? Yeah, he didn't think it was funny either, but you know.
No, but it is funny. They're a bit of a dad joke. I've got a dad joke actually as well.
Oh, what we got? What we got? Let's go.
Yeah, man. Why did the dad knock on the fridge door?
Give us a chance. Give us a chance.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I don't know
Come
why.
on. He knock.
No, don't know.
Why can't he come in? Because it might be a salad dressing.
Oh.
Nah.
Oh, God.
Jesus, man. Oh, my God.
That's funny.
There we go, everybody. There we go. I hope you all enjoyed the dad jokes at the end there. But a good show, as always. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button and all that shit if you haven't done that already. That would be appreciated, kind of, because YouTube hates us anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But, you know, do it anyway if you can. That's cool. Yeah, fuck YouTube. Fuck it. We do it anyway. Yeah, find us over on Percy'sGrowroom.com if you need any extra help, or just find us over on the Discord, which is in the link in the description down there. Click it. It's been a pleasure, everybody. Stay high and stay safe and all that shit. Anything else to add? That's a no?
No.
No, that was a no, I think. They're a big blank space for no.
Nice. Well, yes, stay high and stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Yeah, man.
Everybody wave
and all that shit. Yeah, waving.
Bye.